VCR Podcast with your host, Vish.
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris.
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the VCR Podcast, the only podcast that predates itself in the moment the title is spoken. Adam, aka askcsradical, here with you guys. Jen and Chris, Views Vishal's here with me, and there is absolutely nothing to talk about this week. I don't know why we're here.
And great show. All right, see you guys.
Yep, this has been the VCR Podcast. We will be right back.
I'm gonna go play Madden.
I actually went to break for half a second. I'm like, screw it. Why not? Why not go full on the joke? All right. Yeah, it's been a bit of a week.
Yeah. Wow.
Just a
we
bit.
Have actual gaming news.
I know, right? It's so uncalled for.
Adam is no longer angry at Sony because they released the prices.
No, I'm still mad at
them
Sony
for not releasing them earlier.
Yes.
But you even said like it. I don't even think you were planning to get it before summer.
Well, it just made it real easy now,
2021.
and we'll talk more reasons why it's easier now because there's definitely some other stuff to go with it.
Yeah.
But it is another new week, which means we get to talk about what we've been doing as of the last 7 days. So I don't think we've had him go first in a while. I know we start with Chris for a change.
Ooh, let me take a sip of my whiskey to prepare myself.
Go, Chris. It's your birthday.
No, it's not.
Because I have played. Well, I played a bunch of things. No, it's not my birthday. That was a few weeks ago. Thanks for remembering.
I was there.
So I've been playing a bunch of things. This is true. I was playing a bunch of things, but there's only two real ones that I'm going to talk about this week. First of which is on September 22nd. So I guess that was what, yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Well, for us yesterday, not for people listening. Halo 3 ODST got added to the Master Chief Collection on Game Pass, on Steam, pretty much everywhere on PC, minus Xbox, because I guess it was already there. So that was one of the campaigns I hadn't played yet, and I thought it was actually quite interesting because as soon as I booted it up, I had it like ready to download and update overnight, so I could just start playing it on Tuesday. Soon as I launched Halo 3 ODST, which is a fun thing to keep saying. I'm just going to say ODST from now on. As soon as I launched it, I got an achievement for playing it on the 22nd, saying, "Do you remember when we first met?" I was like, that's kind of cryptic. What the hell is that? So then I went and I did a bit of research. Well, by research, I mean I Googled what the achievement meant. Apparently, the game released on September 22nd, 2009. So they actually kept the exact same date for when they updated it on PC as kind of like a nice little anniversary surprise. And put in an achievement, and you don't have to play the achievement only on September 22nd. If you play on the 22nd of any month, it works. But still, I thought that was kind of nice that they threw that in there because it was like a nice way that it actually made me go in and like look into the game or what happened and why. So I thought that was kind of cool, and it was like a nice little anniversary.
Yeah,
I've already played
through. Good Easter egg.
Yeah, it was a really cool Easter egg. I already played through and beat it, and my first thought that I can't stop thinking. Adam, I'm assuming played ODST?
I didn't play ODST. I did 1, 2, 3, and then I think I skipped to 4 because I never did Reach. I don't think I did. No, I didn't do ODST either.
Okay. So I know, Vishal, you definitely haven't played it because I don't think you've played any Halo games. So ODST, like Reach, is a side story. It doesn't star Master Chief. It takes place at the exact same time as Halo 3. But in Halo 3, while you're fighting against the Covenant, you go through like a warp or whatever that they have, and you end up in a different place off Earth. These are a bunch of Marines that are still fighting on Earth and kind of have their own little side mission kind of thing. Very, very cool. And the number one reason this is the coolest, Nathan Fillion is one of the fucking characters.
All right. I need to play ODST all of a sudden.
Like, holy shit. And you get to play as him at one point. I won't give away any story or anything like that. It is on Game Pass, Adam, so if you still have it, you can easily just boot it up and play. Yeah. But just the fact that it's his voice and his likeness. And I have to go and look because I swear I kept hearing Nolan North as a voice, because he was a voice in a couple of the other Halo games, but just as the NPC characters. Like, I don't think he was as popular at the time. And it's funny because Nathan Fillion should be Nathan Drake and Nolan North is Nathan Drake. And hearing them talk to each other in the game, I was like, my fucking mind right now. They sound so similar. I didn't even realize their voices were like not that far off. So I was like, fuck me, this is amazing. But I mean, it's Halo. It was really, 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 really good. I beat it. It didn't take me very long. I think it took me 7 hours. I played 5 hours yesterday and finished off the last 2 today. I won't give away anything story-wise or anything like that.
Shit, is that the new like race? I mean, now they got the Flood, now they got the Spory.
Yeah, the Spory come in and they get all. Ew, I don't even want to continue with that. Spores are gross.
I definitely am curious though about going back and playing, especially now that I'm streaming again. I wonder if maybe going through all the games again would be kind of like a cool way to go about it.
It would be really cool. I highly suggest it.
The Doom game I lent you for PS4. That'd be a great game to stream because it's just nonstop like chaos.
See, the problem is when I played Doom, I actually didn't end up liking it nearly as much as I thought I would. I think it's because it just ends up being like I guess because with games like Doom, like there's not really a lot of tactical movement to it. It's just straight go, 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 go.
Yes.
That was the thing. I thought it was fun, but it was just a very it was so formulaic that you go into a room, kill everything in there, go into the next room, kill everything in there. Like, it just kept going on like that. There was very, like, I know it's Doom, but, like, there's really not much character or story development throughout the entire game.
I mean, at the same time, too, I didn't really identify much with the old ones growing up because I was just too young to be in that area, so I didn't hit the nostalgia on that either.
Oh, that's
For
true.
us, it was like one of the first M-Ray games that we played in our generation besides Mortal Kombat, so it was like, this is awesome. We got to see people blown up.
Doom was definitely my second, with Mortal Kombat being my first for sure.
Yeah, like I didn't start Mortal Kombat till 3. Like 3 was the first one I actually got around to playing. And I was still technically way too young to play that game. I shouldn't have gotten a copy of that game when my parents didn't pay attention much to it. So
I was doing the math and even wondering if Mortal Kombat was out when you were 3.
By the time that I would have been old enough to actually buy those games properly, God, that would have probably been around like Deception, maybe.
So you were born in 88, correct?
Yes.
So technically, we start playing.
Realistically, you got to look at it. Whatever games were coming out around 2005, and that's around the right time.
Yeah, it'd be Deception or Deadly Alliance.
It'd definitely be in the real shit area of Mortal Kombat games. That's for sure. But what was the second game?
I mean, I was definitely playing. So the second game is Fall Guys. I finally, Adam, as you saw, bit the bullet. I bought it. I downloaded it. I've played 5 hours. And guys, you have to hear this. I finally won my first game 15 minutes before streaming the podcast. Before getting on the podcast. I just won.
See, here's the beauty now about a guy who streamed. I can now put footage on the screen of my footage. It's fucking great.
This sounds like the inception of the inception.
Yeah.
That game is so simple, so perfect, so fun. Like, I bought it full price because it's like $20, but do not regret it whatsoever. I would buy it again on another console if my friends that I had didn't have it on PC and had it on that console. I would buy it again.
Yeah, as soon as you got it, I'm like, okay, now I have to get it on Steam because I got it for free, obviously, because they were smart and put it free on Sony for PlayStation Plus that month. And yeah, I've owed the money for a while now. No, it's not crossplay. At this point, it's not. I imagine with just how large it is, maybe they'll try to on the next generation, but
I could imagine they would try maybe do an update.
What month was it on?
I want to say it was August. I think it was August.
It was August.
I don't know if I got it or not.
That's okay. You'll just have to get it on Steam so you can play it with us.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's still bang for your buck. It's only $25. That's fucking cheap for how much you can get out of that game.
I'm waiting till we start playing Killing Floor because that looks fun as shit.
Oh, I played that on stream too, and that was fun.
Yeah,
it's just chaos.
So yeah, Fall Guys. Like, I don't know. There's not much to say, Adam. You've already mentioned this a lot. Like, talked about it in great detail and streamed it and all that kind of stuff. But
then the most important questions are: what's your favorite game, and what's the game you fucking cringe every time you see it?
I would say my favorite game is like the basic races where there's a bunch of doors. There was the one like all the doors are either fake doors or real doors, and everybody just kind of runs. And it's either you jump through the pink wall. And when you hit the wall, either like you can go through it, or it's like and you just hit it and you're screwed. I've gotten very good at that one because I managed to fall back, so I'm like always gate crash.
Oh
yes,
no, is it the one where the doors go up and down, or is it the ones where it's like fucking straight through the door and
straight through the door?
Oh, it's DoorDash then.
DoorDash. Oh, okay. Yeah. That one is a lot of fun. Pretty much the racing ones I really, really enjoy. The one I hate the most is called like Slime Chase.
Oh, Slime Climb.
Something. Oh my fucking god. Fuck that game.
That one sucks when you have first started playing the game because it's a game where it's an obstacle course, but there's also a pool of slime that eliminates you as it goes further and further up. Until you've learned the course, it's really hard. And now as somebody who has gotten really good at it, you basically have 2 case scenarios. You either suck right away and there's no way you're going to get through because the clusterfuck at the beginning pushes you off the edge, or you get greedy and you do something stupid later on. So
yes, this is true. I've only beaten that course once, ever. It was like half an hour ago. Like, I can't believe it. It's so frustrating. And there's this part when there's these 2 tubes that you have to kind of jump on. Yes, and every time I get there, there's a bunch of fucking assholes that just stand on it, get in your way and grab onto you. It's like, dude, I'm trying to fucking practice this course because I suck. What the fuck?
There's a little bit of trolling in it, but thankfully they've dealt with the hackers a lot better now, which has been an upside. That's another thing that may be okay with getting the Steam copy now, because now it's not nearly as bad for hackers. It's a shame that you can't have your name in it because so many people abused it, because obviously you can keep changing your name on PC. So people kept abusing it with like really, really fucking offensive names. So they've had it just so that it's Fall Guy 1508. It sucks. Like if we were to ever to stream together, it's gonna be really hard finding you because I can't find your name. So
yeah, we'll have to make sure we know our costumes and like kind of link up and get the same one or something like that.
As you can see on the screen right now, if you're watching the stream, I'm wearing a baseball outfit and I refuse to change off of it because the whole like gimmick of the stream is I'm batting 0. And I refuse to change my costume until I get one. So I'm becoming the legendary Tim the Tap Man without any of the fanage watching.
After I won my first one, oddly enough, I won my first game and hit level 10 at the exact same time. So that was like a really fucking memorable moment for me.
Your first win in Fall Guys is like the biggest moment ever too.
I posted the screenshots to Steam immediately. I'm like, these are getting posted. People better comment and like this shit. Holy crap. Look it. I won. I did it. I was able to get a spooky outfit where it's the material is like bats and stuff like Halloween themed. I was like, it's almost October and I'm going to be playing this through October. It's so addicting.
You said it's just fun and easy.
Yeah, and especially with people too,
it's
because
frustrating.
When you play with a full group of 4, because that's the max, like even if you lose in the first round, you want to stick with your friends because you want to watch them struggle too and just see like the absolute chaos that is like everybody screaming. Because like, especially on a map like say a Seesaw where there's constant like on stream, there are quite a number of no or like that happens constantly on my stream because there's so many of those moments where you're like shit, I'm gonna blow it. It's a very emotional game. And it's one of those games too that like you can not be great at and still like not feel like you're getting angry at it.
Oh, that's
definitely
nice
felt a little angry. I felt a little angry over my lack of skill at the very beginning. I did the race through the windmill. There's one race, but it's got all these like windmill propellers all over the place.
Is it like going on?
Holy shit!
Is it like going on Rainbow Road for the first time?
No, Rainbow Road's much harder.
Kind of. When you're running along this path, there's all these circular platforms you have to jump on, but they have sticks going around. And if you don't jump over and that stick hits you, you go fucking flying right off the map and then respawn. And while you're trying to avoid those, there's also these like slow-moving windmills. And if the windmill just happens to be down when you're supposed to jump, you can't jump to the next platform, but that spinning thing's about to hit you. It just knocks you right the fuck off. I actually had it where I was in first place. God. got to the last jump and I could not figure out the stupid jump at the exact moment without getting hit by that swirling stick where the windmill was in my way, and I didn't even qualify. I went from first place
that you do dive, do you, when you go to that platform?
Dive view?
Do you jump and dive for that platform? Because it makes it a lot easier to make that jump.
So I have tried. It should make it easier, but I found every time I just dove into the side of the platform and then fell. So I don't know.
There was one of my friends that didn't know the dive button existed for like an hour of playing it. And just the second that we said, there's this button, right? And he does this this changes everything.
I don't know. I don't use the dive button
play
at
the
all.
game now.
Usually use it only when I get close to the end and I dive over the finish line so that I
in the right spots it works,
ahead.
because it gives you that little bit of extra insurance that you're going to actually make the jump you want.
Okay.
It also helps in seesaw if you dive on the on a slanted seesaw, because it actually might keep you on there a little bit longer, so you can actually get it to your feet. But yeah.
Yeah, they definitely upped their game with the whole cheating thing too. I haven't seen a single cheater, and I don't think this was installed before, but in their most recent update, it now has this program logo attached to the loading screen called Easy, and it's the same anti-cheat program that Microsoft uses for Halo Online.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how
they've upgraded a lot now.
They upgraded to what Microsoft is willing to use for anti-cheaters for Halo, their franchise. You know what I mean? So Fall Guys definitely was all right,
Fall Guys has got the money to afford getting that kind of a service in there.
Now they do. Yes. I would buy it again, 100%. Vishal, you have to get it. It is a beaut.
I will get it once we actually are thinking of switching to Fall Guys from GTA.
Once we get,
definitely.
by that time you'll probably see a 25% off price, I would imagine anyway. So that'll probably be about the time anyway.
The next couple months. Yeah. But yeah, those are the two main. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say right now my backlog is just I'm gonna wait until I get anything new.
Your backlog. Whew.
Chris is sitting there. My back's hurting from all this backlog I'm carrying. You kidding me?
I duct tape a pillow to my back so that it doesn't hurt from all the weight of my backlog I carry around all day. Oh my god!
Do you just lie down on the ground anywhere you go now?
Yes, and I'm just covered in video games. Everywhere I go, I just lay down and they just rain on me.
I mean, there's not a lot of better things to be covered in.
True. But other than that, those are the only two main things I've been playing that I have anything to say about. A couple other things I played, I've already talked about, and I finished them off, or I just played a little bit more, and I don't really have anything new to say about them. Just those two, I'd say.
All right, then we'll go with Vish.
Video game wise, the only one I've been playing lately is Donkey Kong Returns on the DS. It's fun. It's just a lighthearted game. It is all. I have had some levels where I have died 15 times in one spot, because it's basically an SNES game made on a DS, which is notoriously a hard generation of gaming. So, and Chris can attest to that. On the Wii, it was painfully difficult.
Nearly smashed my controller in half. Nearly. I was like, I'm just gonna fucking do it. Holy shit. Yeah.
But it's just a fun game. There's definitely some elements missing from the classic Donkey Kongs that aren't there. You don't get as many. You can't really switch between DK and Diddy. Diddy is more like a helper. He lets you float for a little bit, for 3 seconds. If you're jump, float, and then down. The only other helper that's come is the Rhino. So he's always fun to use, but I haven't seen. I haven't had any levels where I had the I forget the swordfish.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Also so you do or you don't?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And there also hasn't been any levels with the ostrich. So there's some elements missing that I missed from the old SNES games, but I treat it like it's its own game, but it's definitely a lot harder. It's legitimately like old school SNES generation difficult. But it's just something fun to play. I think I'm almost done it. I'll probably be done it by the next episode, and maybe start a more adult game. Not sure which one I'll start.
I have a question.
Yep.
So you're saying you can't play as Diddy Kong in that version?
No. From what I've played so far,
Yeah.
it's Diddy is just a helper.
I wonder if that's DS version. Because so the thing where Diddy like helps you float for a second and fly, it was on the Wii version, whoever you were, the other person had like a helper skill. So when you're playing as Diddy, DK rolls into a ball and you jump on him and actually roll through enemies.
That's still there. So DK has that roll attack in any form. So DK on his own will still roll. But with DK with Diddy, he'll turn into a ball and Diddy like does the backwards walking roll on him.
Yeah, okay.
But you don't get to play as Diddy as the main character.
That's weird. I wonder if that's a DS thing, because I remember playing as Diddy as the main character.
They do have they did have a thing where it was like saying original or new. So they did change it for the DS.
Okay.
So
okay.
It's just like I will discuss it later with the DS being completed and all. I figure it's just a fun thing to play, and I can just essentially like just play it anywhere if I'm just like chilling on the couch or something.
Oh, yeah.
So so just playing it for fun. And I watched this one movie on Netflix because it had Tom Holland. Never mind. Sorry, it had Spider-Man, it had Bucky, it had Batman, Pattinson, and it had Alice.
So not
Alice in
Batman
Wonderland.
yet. Doesn't count.
Yes.
He's not on screen yet. He's not Batman.
Fair enough. So there was a lot of mainstream actors in this one, and oh my god, it is just unpleasant to watch. It's called The Devil All the Time, and it's just it was well done. Like it was so fucked up that you felt fucked up watching it, but that's just the quality of acting, directing, and everything. It was just that fucked up. And it's like Southern old school America. Like Days of Second, like 'cause there wasn't one person of color in this movie, but there was this like I think South Carolina or Virginia where they were filming it. So back then, Virginia is still known to, and South Carolina known to be like hillbilly, like very like segregating areas, and it's about like overly religious community, like to the point it's mentally ill religious community. So I don't know if you guys are. I don't know if Chris, you're planning to watch it at all. Adam, what about you?
I don't have Netflix.
I do plan on watching it. I do plan on watching
Okay.
it but only because of who's in it. I know nothing about it.
Yeah. So it's not fun. It's not something that like, oh, let's watch this. And then it's like, oh wow. I think like some of the guys I think it's gonna get nominated for a few awards because it is a typical Oscar type movie.
Oh, then in that case, probably not, because it's way too early in Oscar season.
Yeah, I know.
They'll forget about it, honestly.
Yeah, they probably will. What was interesting, it showed that like these guys know how to act. Like Robert Pattinson's character is just a horrible person. Tom Holland was very like adapted to his role very well, and it just shows these guys aren't like one dimensional. Especially Robert Pattinson, I will say, is definitely they're not one dimensional actors.
Are you trying to say
like,
he's not just a sparkle vamp?
Listen, he's gonna be Batman. So right now, I'm trying. My only hope is that Bruce Wayne doesn't sparkle, because
I just want him to do like some random, like if he ever goes on like a late night show or something, just so he does a sketch where he redoes as a Twilight and he has to be like, Bella, swear to me.
He's actually a really good actor. He's got a couple movies that are out.
It's like a lot of actors. You play one role and that people just make fun of you for, and you just can't wipe the stink off of it.
Well, it's the one movie that I won't watch this movie just because it just looks like to the point, disturbing to the point. It's just not. It's just will fuck you up. It's called The Lighthouse, with him and William Dafoe that were in it. Apparently, he was ripped off for a nomination for that movie.
There's a lot of people that get ripped off.
But it's just not pleasant, and there's a whole thing. It's like they showed a picture like of Robert Pattinson as Edward and saying this guy's gonna be Batman, but then they showed Robert Pattinson in other roles where he's legitimately really acting. It's like, no, this guy's gonna be Batman.
Yeah.
So it's the whole thing. It's like,
I mean, fuck. Robert Downey Jr. was fucking Iron Man. Heath Ledger, after doing Brokeback Mountain, was Joker. So it's like, doesn't matter what the role is before, as long as they do a good job in the role they get.
Well, Heath Ledger was proven to be a real actor.
No, but it's a sense of like any like comic book fan, you know, this would looked have been like the gay cowboy's going to be Joker, really?
Oh, that was the thing. That was like a lot of people were saying that.
Well, that's what I mean.
Myself,
it's the stink of a role.
Yeah, but you know the thing is though that his role in that movie in Brokeback Mountain was a legitimate, well done acting role.
Yes, but as we all know, in comic book movies, we don't care about acting chops. We just want the value. We want the nostalgia.
I think now we do.
No, I'm not sure about that because
back then I will.
Well, no, but here's what I mean. Like when we watch Guardians of the Galaxy or when we watch like a new movie like Shang-Chi, like none of us are going to be like, okay, has this guy got Oscar quality? No, we're just looking at it thinking like, just be good. Like there's a difference between these movies and Joker. Right? Like these are two completely different paradigms.
I get what you're saying. Like the MCU is more of fan service, but the MCU is more of like a mature fan service.
Well, no, what I mean is like I don't think people are going to be looking at whoever is playing, let's say, Doctor Doom down the road and is going to be like, but did you see how good he was in this Netflix movie that only 50 people have watched? You know, that's
actually. I think for Doctor Doom, they're gonna get an established.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean, right? Like, it's not gonna be like nobody's gonna care about this role because they got an Oscar nomination somewhere. They just want to be like, is the guy gonna be fucking good? Does he look good as him?
When I heard Marshala Ali was gonna be Blade, like I think we all like blew up inside.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with any nominations he got. It's because I watched him in fucking Luke Cage and went, damn, that guy is fucking badass.
Yeah. In Luke Cage, he was awesome.
Like I saw his movie, The Green Book, and he was fantastic in that.
But so all I'm saying is like I'm not looking at like the action mainstream movies as being the same as Oscar nominee movies because they're not even remotely in the same ballpark because they're two completely different sets of acting.
I think there was a time, Adam, that your statement was correct.
It's still correct. Go fuck yourself.
No, because there is how many Oscar-winning actors and actresses who are now playing.
But what does that have to do with the movies they're in? They're just they're not Oscar-nominated actors. They're stars. That's the difference.
I get that.
It has nothing to do with their Oscar nominations. It's the stardom they have.
You have to play the role to make it believable as
Vish,
well.
How many nobodies have played major roles in the MCU for us? Chris Evans is Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about acting chops. Everybody who is in the business and has a name to them or is in that long to get an audition and get the role of a character now in the MCU, they all have good chops. It's just a difference of these guys have nominations to their name, and some of them are about to get into that role where they're eventually. Tom Holland is now going to be on that path, but he's also Spider-Man before that. So
I get that. All I'm stating is that I feel like now they won't just hire anybody. It's got to be somebody who suits the role and can actually make the role believable. I think.
To which I would ask the question then: why would Marvel have been hiring anybody that wasn't suiting the role?
Well, the biggest unknown that they got was Chris Hemsworth, I would say, as Thor.
Well, it seems like they just worried about who would fit in the role because there were a bunch of unknowns mixed with a bunch of big names, and they all worked.
But you still have to audition for it, so you still have to make sure.
Yes, you
the way you're
do.
playing it is
but
believable.
I don't think they're looking at a person's resume and going, "Well, this person's got 2 nominations. This guy's got a Best Supporting Actor." I don't think they're looking at that.
It's not that, but when you have the accolades for it, you may have a better chance.
You maybe get an in the auditions, but you still got to do well in the audition. That's the difference.
I understand that.
I don't think the nomination gets you the
Tom-
role. It gets you in
Tom
the
Cruise
door.
was one of the not nominees, was one of the people that they were considering to be Iron Man.
Yes.
At that
And
point,
he probably
like,
didn't have as good an audition as Robert Downey Jr., who was also at one on a complete downward spin.
Yep. But also, I think what happened as well, they probably were able to get Robert Downey Jr. significantly cheaper. They're like, you know what?
Yeah,
His
but
audition
that's
was
all
great, but we
hypothetical.
can
Like,
pay
I'm
him
literally
pennies
just making the
for now.
comparison that we're arguing right now. You're arguing that right now Marvel is just going to, or Disney, I guess in this case, is just going to strictly be aware of like, okay, well, these people have like accolades and they have chops and they've shown themselves to be proven. Whereas all I'm really thinking about as a fan is I don't care if this person has 10 nominations or 0. If they work in the movie, I'm good. I don't care if this person has been in
get that.
amazing movies in the past. I just want to know that he's going to be amazing in this movie he got the role for.
I know, but also what I'm stating is like, even if you look at the old movies back then, compared to what the actors were to what they are now, they are significantly better now.
I don't agree, actually. I think it's been the same parody since the very beginning. Like, if we're talking like starting from Iron Man, because I don't look at Hulk, because obviously none of those people exist in this MCU right now. If we're talking from Iron Man on, I don't think the acting has gotten better or worse. I think it's been as good as it's always been, because it's the acting to me is not what sells it. It's the stories. It's the action. Like the roles are what complement it.
I get that. I'm just
like I really do believe that you could put a lot of people in any of these roles and they'd still probably do well. Now, we don't know, and it's all hypothetical, but I don't think that it's the acting chops that are making these movies amazing, because generally speaking, if you're getting into a movie of this scale, you have the acting chops because you have to be to win that audition. This isn't a fucking this isn't The Room where a guy's literally spending his way into that role. You have to go through several auditions and probably had several conversations with the directors to be able to get in that door. This isn't just a suck my dick and you get to be Batman, you know?
You're gonna be Batman.
Me too.
Yeah, like I feel like with these roles they're hiring now, yeah, they're trying to get the star power and stuff. But I mean, if you look at most of the MCU movies, even the new ones, it's like action and they're funny. Like at no point has Chris Hemsworth been Oscar worthy while playing Thor. Did he do amazing as Thor? Is it an amazing movie? Is it one of my favorite movies? Yes, but it's not like they need that.
I don't think anybody that's
Oscar-worthy
playing in an
acting
MCU movie is an Oscar-nominated role, but they're damn good for what they're supposed to be doing in this movie.
Yeah. I think honestly, I thought Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool was award-worthy nomination.
No, not for a best actor, just because it's not the kind of thing. Like, if a comedy actor is going to get in, it's got to be substantial. Like, and also, let's be honest, the Oscars were not going to let a foul-mouthed comedy guy get into the nominations. Let's not kid ourselves.
To be entirely honest, at this point, I don't think any of us give a fuck about the Oscars in general.
No.
Well, you were just talking about accolades, so maybe you do.
Listen. I'm stating that all I was stating is that nowadays, with the superhero type, with the nerd type movies, they don't just do it like Yui Bowl to just be like,
yeah, but
let's
they
make whatever
haven't
piece of
been
shit.
since the beginning of the MCU. That's my point.
I would say it started with Batman Begins.
That has nothing to. Yeah. Well, then it just proves my point. If you're going with Batman Begins, then it just proves my point. The MCU has not been doing anything different. It's been the exact same way its entire way through. It's not going based off of name recognition. Yeah. It's going based on who's best for the role.
Yeah, and I'm just saying they were able to even get the classic award-winning actors.
It's cool that they get amazing names in there too, and it's more of a just thank God that they worked, because if they got all these big names and they floundered, it would have been a pain in the ass, because it would have been like, why didn't you just get an untapped talent that we could have got?
Brie Larson. No, I'd say
she's an Oscar. Isn't she an Oscar winner or an Oscar nominee? And she's the worst one.
Yeah.
But she's the worst MCU character actor.
Either way, we're getting way off the topic here, and I still got to do my whole thing. So.
The devil all the time. I would say, if you can handle a movie like this, watch it. It was well done, but it's definitely not something that's enjoyable.
It definitely sounds like something I'm staying away from.
Yeah,
but it's not enjoyable.
it really isn't. And also, I'm just gonna say one last thing.
Watch The Expanse.
Close.
What does close mean?
Amazon show. The Boys.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
This
such a
season
brave
is-
take that he went and watched The Boys.
Oh man, this season, like this new villain in this show. So I don't know if you guys know anything about The Boys.
Yes.
Like
Because you haven't
Homelander.
literally spent like 90% of your time on this podcast talking about it.
So
we know
Homelander,
what
the
you've
main
mentioned.
villain in this show, is one of the most irredeemable, horrific characters you'll ever see on television. But now the joke is, at least he's not racist. That's all I'm gonna say. So Adam, what have you been doing?
Well, for starters, I'll talk about the one game that I really have played that's different. On stream,
Madden?
I played in full. Fuck off. I played an indie game on because I figured now to help me out with streaming and getting games that isn't just Fall Guys over and over again. I figured I'd try doing something that would be a little bit different. So I've gone through Game Pass and found a bunch of either games I've never heard of or like games that are like really short. And I ended up trying a game called The Gardens Between, which was this really interesting puzzle game that only took about 2 hours to beat. The best way to explain it, it's definitely like it's a platformer without actually having like inputs. All you're doing is you're tilting the thumbstick left or right as like a time thing. So they always walk in the exact same manner, and you're just trying to time it right. So like if you tilt to the right, eventually you'll stop because you need this certain item to get past it. So you have two people with you. One of them holds this lantern that has this light that gets you through things like fog. It brings power to these like things
This
that you
is
need.
on the PC or PlayStation?
I don't know how
4?
many things it's on. I just got it through Game Pass. So you have this one person that's holding a lantern the entire time, and that basically like controls this light that is basically like the power generator of this entire thing, and it activates certain things like bridges and the thing that you need to get to the end of the level. And then the other guy, it basically just handles switches. He pulls like levers down and shit like that. And that's all it is. There's no inputs. It's just left or right, and you just got to time, and you just got to have the people in the right place. So in the very early stages, it's very simple, very straightforward. And then they slowly creep in some new mechanics, get it a little bit more complicated. And then by the time it gets to the end, it's this giant mishmash of stuff. And they do some really creative things. Like on the stream right now, if anybody's watching, you have a level where, because the entire story of this game is that you're going through like childhood nostalgic memories, basically. And in one of them, the level is like video games. So at some point, you have to get the light out of a television. So you have to power on the television, and you have to play inside the game for a moment to get the, the playable character in that game to grab the light that you need and then get it out of the TV. So it does these like cool little like things to kind of make the puzzles go along. And it wasn't ever to the point that I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. There were a couple of times where I'm like, okay, what am I not seeing here? Because there's a couple of ones that are pretty cheeky and you would actually like really have to think about for a second. But it was a really like chill puzzle game, like nothing special. Although by the end of it, it was a little depressing at the end because, you know, naturally indie games like, you know, not always having happy endings.
Like indie movies almost.
Yeah. But it was still a very solid game. It was something that I didn't feel cheated out of, especially I didn't pay money for it. It was off of Game Pass, but it was definitely worth like a quick like 2 hours out of your day just to kind of chill and kind of relax for a little bit.
It's like something I'd want to try, just because it's so short. So it's like just a
that was the
experience.
upside too. Is I was looking for something that would be like 2 hours easy, just because I don't want streams to go on too long right now, because I don't want to hate streaming if I take too long.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I get you.
But otherwise, there's only one other thing that I've been doing, and doing a lot of in the last like 5 days. So
I don't like where this is going.
Dude, I like it.
I was on my OnlyFans account for the last month.
Oh, okay.
Well, me and Chris have been bonding over that. Well, actually, we have been bonding, just not off OnlyFans.
We're bonded over that a long time ago.
So I was really desperate for something to do. Like I finally finished. What was it on it? Well, I finished Crosscode. I finished like most of the games that I wanted to on PC. I finally grinded enough in GTA that I gotten everything I wanted. So I'm like, shit, what do I do now? And I'm looking through Game Pass being like, okay, I need a long game that I can go. And all the games that are listed, I'm like, I don't know if that's good enough. I don't know if that's going to keep me interested. So I thought about it and I went, By the way, I haven't watched much of anything for 6 months. For whatever reason, COVID's made me not want to sit down and watch things.
I gotcha.
I finally canceled my Crunchyroll account because I haven't used it in 3 months, which is
Is
really
that the anime one?
yeah, which was really hard for me because I've had that thing for 4 years.
Yeah, dude.
They may email you
giving
back
up
and be
your
like,
kid.
"Come back to us. We'll give you a discounted rate."
Well, I'll probably go back to it at some point, maybe, but it's just that time where it's like I have Prime and there is anime I can watch on there if I really want to watch something anime. And that was originally my plan. I'm like, screw it. You know what? I'll throw on Prime. I'll go watch an anime I've been trying to watch for a while. And as I'm scrolling through it, because I had to recalibrate my TV, so it completely refreshed all my choices. So everything was back to stage 1. So I'm scrolling, just trying to find the anime section again. And then all of a sudden, I came across The Man in the High Castle. And I'm like, oh shit. I forgot that I really wanted to watch that show. So I'm like,
oh yeah.
You know what? Screw it. Let's give this episode a shot. So I watched the first episode. And I gotta tell you, the episode is about 55 minutes long. At about 50 minutes in, I was pretty convinced I wasn't going to finish the show. I'm just like, it's okay, but I'm not like being drawn into it. I mean, yeah, it's Nazis take over the world. Like, it's actually if the Nazis and the Japanese had won the Second World War. Okay, yeah, it's a cool concept, but I've heard so many good things about it, but like, the show's like not really doing that much for me. And then the last 5 minutes hit and I went, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I never fully finished the first episode of that. So
my brother was the same way. He said the exact same thing. I'm like, yeah, finish the episode and then see what you think. Because that immediately made me go, fuck, I have to watch 3.5 seasons. Well, I'm now at episode 7 of season 3 since Friday. So
Damn.
How many seasons are there?
I think it's 4.
4.
Oh shit! So you're almost done.
Yeah, I'm getting there. And it's finally getting to the point that it's getting weird, which is where I really like it now.
Yeah, it just keeps getting weirder.
So the best way to explain it to people, like apart from the obvious stuff, being just, again, the concept is cool. I wish more video games would do this well, because there's only a couple of times that it's tried to happen, and they've all been terrible. Homefront is the one that immediately comes to mind, where North Korea takes over, and that game is horrible. The other one, I never played it, but I heard it was a piece of shit too. It was called Turning Point Skies of Liberty, I think. And that was about the Nazis winning. And all I heard about that game is it is a piece of shit FPS. I'm like, well, good. I guess I'm not spending money on it.
Avoid.
But The Man in the High Castle, the best way I can explain why I like it so much, do you remember when we watched Knives Out and the entire movie you spend watching it thinking about what the next thing's going to be? That's the big turnaround, like the big curve that comes next. Mm-hmm. That's literally every episode of Man in the High Castle for me. Every episode, I'm thinking, okay, what's the next swerve? When's the next betrayal? When's the next like killing coming? Like, when's the next big plot point about to hit? And you think it's coming, and it doesn't come. And then you think this thing's gonna happen, and it doesn't happen for like 7 more episodes because it just keeps like just hanging on by a thread just to keep you being.
But is it like okay? It's not like Walking Dead where the entire like. Build up, like something.
No, there's always something happening, but whatever you think is about to happen is actually still being built up for 5 more episodes, while another thing is already about to happen, just to completely throw you off base. So, like, there are several characters in this game that I keep thinking, okay, this time he's going to be dead, and he managed to live another episode. I'm like, shit, okay. And then somebody else has
managed to die another day. And
then this person stays alive, and you're like, well, fuck, when's somebody going to die? And then all of a sudden, a person you don't expect to die just fucking dies. You're like, what?
Sounds like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just the fact that it's the weirdest mishmash of like nostalgic characters for me. So this is a list of some of the people in Man in the High Castle. Fucking Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Like original movie Shang Tsung.
That's what hooked me.
Soul is mine.
The fucking coach of Iceland from D2 The Mighty Ducks.
I would have never guessed that no matter what.
Yeah.
The fucking hacker.
When you told me, Adam, I'm like, oh.
The fucking hacker from The Core. The new villain from The Expanse from the newest season. And then the fucking voice of the cartoon movie Hercules. And those are 5. And and there's more that I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head, but those are the 5 immediately that come to mind. And I just keep watching this show. Oh, sorry, and the Count from A Knight's Tale. So there's 6.
Okay, for the record, Hercules is one of the most underrated Disney movies ever.
Oh, it's fucking good. I mean, it's no Treasure Planet or fucking, oh my god, why am I blanking? Atlantis.
I actually wouldn't mind
if
they remade Hercules. I think it would actually be good.
I mean, I'm done with live actions if that's what their goal is.
Oh, the Mulan one was just fucking terrible.
But I mean, like, this show, like, I literally, like, every time now, Chris will get messages on Facebook being like, what the fuck? And he's like, wait, what part is this? I'm like, this episode. He's like, oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It is ridiculously good. The show is, I gotta rewatch it.
I'm fucking way in on that show, and I'm glad that I finally got around to it, because it's been so long since I've been watching stuff, so to finally get a crack at that, and for it to be as good as it's been, like, the acting, like, I wouldn't say anybody's, like, running away with it. I think everybody is, like, literally at parity, so nobody's overshadowing the other.
Yeah. Yeah, I would, yeah, really good acting. Oh, I just love it.
Now, it's still nowhere near as good as The Expanse. I'm going to come out here and say it. It's nowhere near as good as The Expanse. No. The Expanse is in a level on its own. I love I actually saw a post on Reddit the other day, and I love posts like these, where somebody says, I hate that I just started watching The Expanse, because now I can't put anything else above it. Because like I've now put the bar too high.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna make Alex watch The Expanse.
Well, you better soon, because they're starting to they're reshooting season 5 now, so they're getting closer to finishing.
What am I gonna do? I mean, just watch it. I'm gonna watch it. When did the last season come out? Like last December?
Yeah, last year, like early, or I think late last year.
Holy crap, that's so long. That is long.
I know, it feels like decades ago at this point.
Pre-COVID.
But anyways, that is enough of the intro now that Vish has gotten himself back, so why don't we move on to all the quickies for today, and by quickies, I mean, well, fuck, there's a lot of big shit in this one. So we'll start with the actual stuff we can do a little bit quicker. So right off the bat, CD Projekt Red has come out and said that Cyberpunk 2077's campaign will actually be shorter, but I do love the headline where it says Cyberpunk 2077's campaign will be shorter than The Witcher 3's because a lot of people didn't finish it. Which is the most Witcher thing you can hear.
Yeah, it's true.
Besides, fucking.
I mean, basically, like, the average time for playing Witcher is 55 hours, but if you're talking completionist runs, it's 150 plus.
Oh, at least.
And that's not even counting DLC.
How many hours are you both into it right now?
Well, I think I probably put just over 100 when I finished it.
Oh, you actually finished it?
Oh, I finished it like way a long time ago.
Huh.
I finished it like 4 years ago, I want to say.
60 hours. I'm definitely not near the end.
I would have said I did like 110, 120, and I didn't do the DLC, so.
Oh, God, I forgot I have the DLC.
But I mean, basically, like, they're just saying, look, we're going to shorten the game a little bit just because, we want people to actually finish it. To which I say, okay, fine. Well, I mean, you're giving us 3 paths anyway, so I mean, I guess I'll play it 3 times. Oh no!
Is there gonna be more Keanu though?
I don't know. I don't know how much breathtaking I can handle.
I also like this approach because if you think about it, Witcher 1 was like 25 hours in a PC game, and then Witcher 2 was like 32 hours, and it wasn't until The Witcher 3 that they were like, here you go, we're going to take what you love and make it amazing. It could make it where this game is amazing, but it's the first one, and then when Cyberpunk 2078 comes out, or whatever the heck they'll call the sequel, then they're like,
it's 200 hours.
Now it's Witcher 3 sized fuckers. Here you go. Like, it gives them the opportunity to like grow on it, because if they started out Witcher 3 size, next one after that, it would be hard to match it or improve.
Is Cyberpunk made by the same studio that makes The Witcher?
Yeah, that's why they were commenting.
Oh, okay.
Their only other game series that I think that they make. I think they own The Witcher and now Cyberpunk, and they are the most profitable gaming company in Europe. No, sorry, I think second. And they're only behind
it's not counting
Ubisoft,
because that's kind of an unfair comparison.
Yeah, but the thing is like they're not that far behind, and they only have 2 franchises. Ubisoft has every franchise.
Well, that's because Ubisoft has a lot of shit franchises.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Ubisoft is shit.
Not to mention, like, there are games that, like, we make the joke, like, obviously Skyrim's ported all the time. Witcher 3 could be on a lot of different devices, and no one would bat an eyelash. They'd be like, no, it deserves it.
I have it on Switch. I have the Switcher, as they say.
Oh.
Ooh.
I really want to play it, but I think I just...
No, you won't. You won't get into that. Like,
Won't like it.
It's too long.
It's too big.
I get that, but I think like the gameplay and everything and the character and story development would keep me hooked.
Maybe, but you'd also never finish it. So so we'd be like, so Vish, how far did you get in today? I played like 10 minutes of it. I think I saw a bird in this one.
I don't even think I'm gonna get my PS5 in 2021, to be entirely honest.
Well, yeah, but you still gotta play fucking Horizon too, you know?
Yeah, I know.
You got some work to do, buddy.
That's a much more
trust me, I know.
realistic open world.
Also, my cousin-in-law, he let me this.
Oh,
Death
jeez.
Stranding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're either gonna love it or hate it. So
That's the thing. Like I'm hearing
divisive
how
game.
divided
you're gonna
is.
know within the first hour if you're gonna keep playing that game. I get the feeling.
But I haven't played Devil May Cry in like a month almost, so I have to get back into that and finish that one. It's just that's the thing.
So stop watching shitty Netflix movies.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, for one thing, it wasn't shitty. It's just not fun.
No, but no, you had other podcasts where you come on here and it's like, I watched this really big piece of shit.
Yeah. That one baseball movie with Joe Mensch, Sofia Vergara's husband. Like that one was.
You know what? There are a lot of times you come on the show and you're like, I watched this and it was really horrible. I'm like, why are you doing that then?
Actually, Adam, I forgot to tell you one thing about that one movie on Prime with Sofia Vergara's husband, and actually with Sofia Vergara.
Okay,
in it
make
as well.
it quick.
No, you'll think this is ridiculous.
Well, then make it quick. Let's go. Chop, chop.
The guy is doing a bunt position, so the pitcher pitches it. He somehow was able to get out of a bunt position and swing back and hit a home run.
That's been done before. 3 Ninjas did that. 3 Ninjas, which one was it? It was the one where we went to Japan. I can't think of what the title was. But Three
like
Ninjas
the second
did
or
it
third
forever
one.
ago.
Yeah, I was just like, oh.
And then the Asian girl was like, nice butt. Nice butt.
I think it was 3 Ninjas Kick Back.
I think it was too.
Yeah, but
that's a movie I want to go back and watch. That was a fucking great movie from my childhood.
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
watch
that
it
is.
now, and it's like, actually, you know what I think is gonna get resurrected soon in a movie format is Karate Kid because of Cobra Kai.
I was gonna say it
loving
already
Cobra
technically
Kai.
has been like twice.
No, but
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be. I think there's gonna be a new movie with Johnny and
Okay,
Daniel.
I don't. To be honest, I don't care about that one. Either way, we need to move on because there's way too much shit. So speaking of nostalgia, though,
You said there was nothing.
Speaking of nostalgia, we're losing a big piece of nostalgia now as Nintendo has discontinued the 3DS. I mean,
Yep.
I don't think a lot of people are mourning it. That thing has sold for 10 years, and Nintendo has basically made the forever DS now in the Switch. So
Yeah.
unless they decide to change the gimmick again, because that would be the most Nintendo thing to do. They finally find the perfect formula, and then they still like say, "Nah, I don't want to do it anymore."
You know,
They
I
could,
think
Nintendo, if you're listening, just leave it the same. Just
keep
switch it
upgrading
for a
the
long
Switch.
time.
you know what I think.
Don't
they
keep
could
upgrading.
Hashtag don't switch the Switch.
do a VR system. I think that would be next, like a Virtual Boy 2.0.
Don't
almost.
give them ideas, Vish.
Why would you make another Virtual Boy? That was the worst selling console of all time.
doing it
There
as
are enough
dockle,
VR
which are
devices out there.
lightweight.
Holy shit.
No, Nintendo, they could actually do that, and the 3D wouldn't be as painful as the DS is.
I mean, sure, go play Breath of the Wild in VR, so then you can just stare at Zelda's ass in VR. I guess that's something. Okay, fine. You pulled my leg. But I mean,
Okay,
like,
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's a good 10 minutes.
I guess it's a good excuse to pull this sucker out, so I'll pull out the old Persona Q DS that is one of my favorite fucking designs they ever did. I love this fucking design. It's like a fucking grimoire. It's fucking great. I never did play
green.
I never did play my DS very often. Oh shit! I almost fell over and knocked everything off. Okay, let's not do that again.
That would have been the highlight of the night.
I would have hurt Yuffie and Selfie. That would not have been a good day.
Yuffie, run.
It would have been sad, but we would have laughed about it later on.
Oh, I wouldn't have laughed
Maybe
about it.
a year from now.
No, I wouldn't have laughed about it. You don't hurt the waifus. That's the rule.
Okay. Chris and I would have gone on chat and be like, he did fucking broke it.
Fuck you guys. Yeah. I mean, the 3DS is going to be remembered as this weird handheld console that probably did the best since the Game Boy Advance, but also had a gimmick that no one gave a shit about. It's one of those weird things. If they had just kept it and just upgraded the graphics and didn't do the 3D, no one would have batted a fucking eyelash.
You know what it is with the 3DS? I think the 3D would have been okay if you didn't have to hold it at like the most perfect possible angle. Because it's like when you're using a handheld console, you're not stable. Like you
No,
move.
you are not. Especially on a
So-
bus.
So it's like you're using the
Yeah.
3DS. Like I'll put the 3D on for cutscenes because I'm like, oh, I can. This is actually cool, kind of. But you can't play the game like that. No one's hands are that steady. Even a fucking brain surgeon's hands are not that steady that you're playing the game like this and you're watching in 3D the entire time.
I would love to know if,
Yeah.
I wish they would have taken stats from the system. I love to know, like, the percentage of time that was spent in 3D mode on all consoles.
I think you gave the most accurate stat.
What?
99.9.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It might even be less than 0.1 because I don't know anybody that used the fucking 3D feature for more than 2 minutes.
No, you can't. Your hands just can't be that stable. Like because the slightest movement will throw it off.
The only time you turn it on is when you're just curious and you just want to remind yourself how it looks. So you flick it back on for 5 seconds, then you flick it right back off.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Like
a
I
lot.
love the fact that I bought the Smash Brothers on there because Smash Brothers is universally loved in the gaming community,
What
especially
says
if you're a
who?
Nintendo fan. Since
Says the gaming
Gamers?
community.
Who trusts the gaming community? Come on. It's not like we're a gaming podcast.
so
Are we?
with Smash Brothers, I find that like having it on the 3DS was awesome because you got to play Smash Brothers anywhere, and that option wasn't there before. I remember one time in college, these two guys they had PS3 PlayStation controllers. I'm 37, friends. So when I went to college, I was significantly younger.
Yeah,
and
as
these
most.
guys-
Well, I mean, that's actually not technically true. You could actually be older and still be in college, so.
Fair enough.
Sure.
But they were using PlayStation controllers on their laptop and playing Smash Brothers in the student lounge. And I was like, oh, sick. But that was like Smash Brothers 1, like N64. So we're playing on an emulator. And that was the only
I
time
think
I've
people
ever
probably
seen.
figured out that it was an emulator when you said PlayStation controllers and Smash.
So
On a
that was
laptop.
but that was the first time
Wait
I
a
saw
minute, the
Smash
Nintendo
Brothers.
PlayStation laptop.
I'd buy that. I'm not kidding. I'd fucking buy that.
That was the first time I saw Smash Brothers portable. And now it's like, oh, you know what? Even though I just wanted to play for fun, just to chill out, I could just play it on the DS.
I don't know, competitive Smash isn't chill.
I get that. I think the biggest flaw of the DS wasn't really the 3D of it. It was the screen size.
Depends. It really depends. Because, I mean, most people, if you're looking at handhelds, I mean, it's no different than the size of a phone screen, right? But
I know.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
well, no, but
with
what I
the
mean is,
DS,
like, at the time, it was about kind of the same size as a lot of phones were then. Especially because still a lot of people were working with
Possibly.
flip phones.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh, yeah. It was like the iPhone 2.
But at the same time, too,
Whatever.
Nintendo is not one to just do screen and game. It's always a gimmick. So they had to do the dual screen. It had to be something gimmicky. So you're just
Plus,
not
they came
avoiding
out.
that.
Yeah, and then they got the XL version, which is the one I had, which was a much
Like,
bigger screen. And the
Oh,
3D
Actually, yeah,
was a
that's what
little
my
bit
screen.
better.
Now that I
fantastic.
think about it, that is what my console is.
I have the 3DS, not 3DS XL.
Yeah.
But if I may ask, what
Yeah.
was your favorite game on the 3DS? If
Mine?
you had to you know what? Choose two.
Hmm.
Choose two.
Fire Emblem
I have to
Awakening
remember
for
what
sure
was
is
even
one of
on there.
them.
Super Mario 3D Land.
Probably
Oh,
yeah.
that was a great
Fire Emblem
game.
Awakening and then Bravely Default.
Probably New Super Mario Brothers. I think that's where that whole thing started.
Yeah, actually, I think that was the game that really made the DS like explode because that was like vintage Mario but 3D, but it was so much fucking fun.
Yeah. Pokemon was amazing on it just because it's Pokemon on the go, as per usual.
Pokemon
Okay.
hasn't been good since fucking Gold Silver. Hot take.
You know, I think my favorites
Lies.
are A Link Between Worlds, even though I fucked that game up. It was just
Just
still
because you
that
fuck a game up
fucking
doesn't mean
awesome.
you still didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it was fucking amazing. It's a great game. It's probably one of the best Zeldas I've ever played. And my number two, I'll probably say is Mario 3D Land because it was just so much fucking fun. And it was like Super Mario World and Galaxy combined into one.
And it had the clever naming because Super Mario Land was the Game Boy games. So the fact that they made it 3D Land and brought back the whole original
realize
Game Boy portable style.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. I remember like I had my Game Boy still. I don't think it works anymore. I think it's like physically dead, but I have Super Mario 3D Land. Super Mario Land, and it's
Super
still
Mario 3D
fun.
Land for Game Boy. Oh shit, that's gonna break it. No wonder your Game Boy doesn't work.
The 4 bits couldn't keep up.
One game I thought this that the DS Mario Kart on the DS was the hardest Mario Kart.
Yes. But
It
I
is-
probably
Is there
put
a
the
hard
most
Mario
hours into
Kart?
that game over all other games.
This one is painfully difficult.
I don't know. I've never played a hard Mario Kart. Maybe it's just because I'm good.
Okay, I think I can own you in Mario Kart. Wait,
No, even with me not playing, I still do really well in Mario Kart. That's just a game that I'm naturally good at.
I know, but I find the DS one was abnormally hard. Like even
Maybe
in
it's
like
it might even be because if for some people maybe it's the screen size because you don't see the obstacles as much.
The
Possibly.
field of view is much smaller compared to normal because they had to make it run on such smaller hardware, so the processing power was that much down. They decreased the field of view, so you saw less of the level before it was too late.
okay, that's you probably have a point there, but definitely I did find that this was an abnormally difficult Mario Kart game, and like it was almost impossible to get 3 stars in any of the races.
A lot of fun though. I did really love.
Oh, yeah,
Mario
yeah.
Kart
Oh,
Racing.
yeah.
If
It's great-
if I could
it's
stream
great
it
to
because
have a
Nintendo
portable
hates
Mario
like people streaming their shit, I would love to get a copy of the game and be able to play it on stream and then just be like, okay, let's see how hard this game actually is, and then 3-star stuff easily, and just be like, Vish, get on my level, bro.
Challenge accepted. I think my favorite thing about the 3DS was that feature that if you walked past somebody that had a 3DS,
Oh yeah,
it
the
did
street
all
pass.
this cool stuff. Yeah, that was my favorite thing. I used to go to like music festivals where normally people like you'd think like, oh, there's no gamers here, and then all of a sudden I'd go home, my 3DS was in my pocket, and there was like 20 people that had brought their 3DS, and we'd all
Actually,
connected over that thing.
The one thing I remember I absolutely loved when you and I went to Cuba that one year, and you had your DS, someone else had their DS, and I also had a DS, and you could have played Mario Kart with one person having Mario Kart, but everyone else plays Mario Kart, but they're just shy guys. But the fact is, you can still play Mario Kart as a group as long as you had a DS. Only one person needed to have Mario Kart.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That
I think
was
that may have
awesome.
been the original DS, but either way, same thing.
If that concept still applies,
Yeah, I think
Well,
that
just-
3DS had that too.
it was just fun
So
to
good.
like just do it like that.
Yeah.
That way that the Switch does it, that you can like have the controllers like despite how small it is, you can still play it on the road, and you're all a group just playing it. It's just awesome that way.
Yeah.
So I think right now I think the DS is going to disappear for a very long time, and so are portable consoles with the Switch model.
I mean, technically, handheld consoles exist still.
Yeah,
That's
is,
the
yeah.
Switch. So technically, handhelds have not gone away.
Yeah, that's a Switch.
It's just Nintendo found a
Even-
way to have both a home and a handheld console without having to do anything different. So
Yeah. No, but I mean,
Yeah.
like
handheld dedicated consoles, I think.
that
are-
technically, if I'm being completely honest, that is the Switch. I don't.
The Switch
When I
Lite,
really
you
think
can't
about
even
it, I
put it
don't
on
think
the
the
dock.
Switch was designed to be a TV console. I think it was really designed to be a handheld.
You may have
The
a point
Switch
there.
Lite is only portable. The Switch Lite is a purely portable console. You can't even put it on the dock. It's just
Yeah.
portable only.
Okay. No.
Smart. They're able to now focus on one platform. They can put all their games instead of having to try to
what was
run like
the,
a Wii U
stat
and
at-
a 3DS at the same time.
Adam, you found a stat where a significant amount of people were actually using the Switch portably.
I don't. I would have to like really go back and research that, but
Okay.
I'm gonna have to cut a few things out of the show here because we're already over an hour and we haven't even got to the big topics yet. So, so the last week has been absolute garbage for people trying to buy shit. Chris managed to somehow get a PS5. Somehow.
I am the king of the world. I did it. All I had to do was wait on Amazon and hit refresh every 30 seconds and look at one of those stupid Amazon dogs when the page won't like.
Don't you talk bad about dogs?
They have a different dog picture every time.
Yeah, don't you dare.
There's so many stupid dogs. I love dogs, but there was like, how did they get so
Vish,
many?
Should I kick him off the
dogs?
podcast for that?
Chris, no, I'll ask you. I'll just say one thing, Adam. Chris, how would Cooler feel if he heard what you said right now?
He'd wonder how they got so many pictures of dogs for their error 505 page cannot be found. How did they even get that many pictures? No, it's like a funny thing that was on the internet. Everyone's like, I'm so sick of Amazon's dog pictures. Give me my PlayStation. Because every time you hit the button, it was like pre-order. And it's like, cannot go to this page. And just every time a different dog.
Like for me, it's I don't know. I'm just gonna avoid buying my PS5 for as long as I can. It's not going to be until there's a game that's only on the PS5 that I'll probably be like, you know what? Maybe it's time I get one. So,
but yeah, people struggled a little bit doing it. It was a bit of a struggle. You know, it didn't help, at least for PlayStation specifically, because several retailers just decided to not put the pre-orders on the date that was agreed upon. That was cool.
Walmart, we know it was you.
No, Walmart would never do a thing like that.
That was
Walmart
real cool. That, like, everybody was like, all right, I'm ready for tomorrow. And then all of a sudden at midnight, PlayStation 5s are pre-orderable. They're like, blah, 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 what?
Yeah. Oh, brutal.
However,
that was a shit show.
After that day, everybody made the jokes, oh, look at Sony. They couldn't even get pre-orders right. And then Nvidia was like, shit, we're next, aren't we? And then they had troubles with 3080 getting sold. So then everybody's like, oh, well, here comes Xbox. They've learned, like, they'll know what to do when it comes in. And then Xbox pre-orders happened, and it was the exact same fucking thing. So,
and it's funny because it's not PS5 or Xbox or Nvidia's fault. No, I don't blame any of them.
So,
for
newsflash
to
dumb fucks on the internet. Newsflash. It's COVID. They didn't produce that many models probably than what they wanted to. This is a worldwide thing now. Gaming is not a Western thing. It's not a Japanese thing. It's worldwide. I think around 10 to 15 million PS5s, for example, were made. I don't know how you spread that many consoles around the world and not have shortages.
Yeah.
So for anybody who thought that PlayStation was dumb, because it started with them and the memes kind of stopped because everybody realized, oh shit, now we have egg on our face because everybody had that problem. To anybody who was making the memes about PlayStation not knowing what to do with pre-orders, get a fucking clue. Like, that's what supply and demand does. It's every time tickets go on sale for a concert that's really big, it's always like that because scalpers and bots go in there and take a bunch of the stock too, because everybody's got to go on eBay and try to spend $2,000 on a $500 piece of hardware, because that's how fucking stupid the market is.
I hate bots so much. Oh, I hate that concept.
Like, the second that I saw people selling the things for double, and I went, if anybody buys that, I hope that thing breaks on you in 6 months. I hate to do that to somebody who's spending that much money, but if you have that much money to fucking burn on something that you can't wait for, then you deserve the thing to break on you.
Yeah. And the person who bought it just to resell it, shut the fuck up and I hope they get diarrhea.
Oh my god, I'm seeing it so much right now on Facebook Marketplace about people selling their pre-orders for like a criminal amount, like legitimately criminal.
It's just
amount.
like if anybody is looking at that price of, like, let's say a PS5 digital, which is normally I think for us here it's like $599.
Yeah.
If somebody is selling it for more than $1,000 and you think it's a deal, you're a fucking idiot. Like, these are the people that it's like, dude, like, holy crap, like, these people need help. Like, these people need actual, like, clinically psychological help.
Like, I get the
pre-orders aren't even done. It's
No,
not over.
fact is, you don't even need it at pre-order. You don't need it at opening day.
Even
or
if
anything.
you did, your time to get one is still not over. There's more stock being
more
pre-ordered.
coming and more stock. Yeah. Adding it like next week and the week after. Like there's going to be more stock every few days.
It's just fuck,
Crazy.
man. But it was beautiful
it's
to know that
ridiculous.
everybody had that problem, so that way I can point the finger at dumbasses on the internet and be like, so what happened with your console?
And one reason is because Walmart has a certain amount, but they announce to the world, like, hey, everyone, go on our website and buy it. It's like every single one of your stores has like 3.
That's the thing, too. I
What do you
know
expect to happen?
I know somebody who works at EB Games locally, and he said, yeah, we have 4 coming in.
Yeah, like it's not many. And these sites aren't meant to have that much traffic all at once.
But again,
of
like
course
I
sites
said,
are gonna
15 million consoles around the world. Do the math. A local town is not going to get that many.
He is going to have a really bad day on opening day.
Not to mention, apparently, I saw this story, apparently on Amazon, a lot of pre-orders for Xbox One X's have suddenly trickled up.
Because people got confused.
Some people are going to have some
Yes.
bad Christmases this year.
I got you the new Xbox. Just kidding. It's the One X because I don't understand because I'm your parent and I don't know anything about video games.
I'll say
Of
it
course it's gonna
till I'll
happen.
say it till the end of time. Microsoft, I don't care because we'll get to you in a minute with your big buy. I don't care how many studios you have, how many games you have. You had I can't in any sense of even a guy who only had like high school marketing education. I can't sit here and be like that must have been a great marketing decision to name that console the Series X.
No.
Like, whoever you have in your marketing department, fire them and hire me because with my lack of experience, I could have made a better fucking decision.
Yep. Xbox 4. Easy.
Like, just call it the X, like, just call it the X.
The Xbox
Call it the
720.
Expo. And that's still more recognizable.
Expo.
X both.
X
It's
boner box.
It's ridiculous, especially
Like, they
with the
should have called it the Xbox Stream and the Xbox Pro. Like, that probably would have been the better, like, names for it if you wanted to, if you really wanted to do it properly.
Yeah. Just go buy Xbox at this point. Just call it. Maybe that wouldn't work. It's kind of hard because parents, when they were buying the very first Xbox, walked into EB and went, I want the new Nintendo for my kid. Because that's what parents called every video game system.
Yeah,
Yes.
remember,
You
didn't
play
Nintendo have to do
Nintendo?
an advertisement saying it's not a Nintendo, it's a Nintendo Entertainment System or whatever.
Dude, I will
Yeah.
tell you one thing. When I was 16 and got my PlayStation, my dad was like, I see no difference between this and the Nintendo. I'm like, are you serious? There's a ginormous difference between this. Like,
That's
Parents
because
don't
parents are dumb.
I
They
guess.
just don't care. Like, cool. It's like us with 1080p to 4K. We're like, I don't get it. And then some 14-year-old kid's like, how do you not see the difference? We need the 4K TV, Dad.
Oh, I
They're
can
like,
I see the difference. I'm just like, yeah, I think we're at a point now where it's not that like breathtaking.
With that one, it's definitely not.
But 8K. No, I'm kidding.
8K, if like fuck, man. 4K is barely around. Is barely making a difference. What the hell will 8K do right now?
Yeah. So after that, there are a couple things to go through. So our two big stories, obviously, Bethesda sale we'll get to at the end here, but this is a question that I would pose to you guys, and I think needs to be posed to people in general because now people are starting to get a little bit testy about it. I'm not sure why I did a rant on that, and that's actually up on my YouTube channel at this point. But let's get it to the group. So we now know that some major games are not PS5 exclusive anymore. That being Spider-Man Miles Morales, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and Horizon Forbidden West. They are also PS4 games as well now, and people lost their shit. Because they're like, oh, this game's going to be subpar now. It's not going to be nearly as good now because, now they're making it for PS4 now. To which I go, what? Is there some crazy graphics change that I didn't know about? Like I didn't know that we were doing 120K. Like what's the change? Like 60 frames and faster loading times. That's not changing. That's still going to be in all the games. No, you're stupid. No. This isn't a PS3 to PS4 change. This is a PS4 game that is just being upgraded texture-wise, higher frame rate, and better loading times. This isn't massive graphical upgrade. This isn't going to affect anything. All the PS4 version of Horizon Forbidden West is going to be is a slightly lesser version of the PS5 version. That's literally what this is going to be. It's like playing PC games. You're basically, on PS5, you're playing it on high, and on PS4, you're playing it on medium. That's what it is.
It's the same fucking game. They build their game. Whenever you build a game, you make it as high as possible, and then you just change the settings down to make it fit. So they make the game, they make it insane. Then they bring the settings down to okay, we can do 4K high settings for the PS5. Oh, okay, we have to do 1440p or 1080p medium settings for the PS4. File, save, ship it. What the fuck is everyone freaking out
so
about?
I guess I'll pose the question.
It's
It's a pretty simple question, but does these games now being multi-platform on PlayStations, does that actually mean anything? Or is it just a thing?
I've been thinking about the console wars a lot lately since they're restarting.
Well, but this doesn't have anything to do with the console war. This is just a PlayStation problem.
Yeah, they said they'd be PS5 exclusive, and they're actually...
It's just no longer just on PS5. Now it's on PS4, and people think that because now they're making it for two consoles, the game's going to suffer. It's no. No, it won't, actually.
Okay, I don't know. I guess I don't really have an input. I think allowing first party games should be eradicated. I don't think that
What?
you should have.
Whoa.
Okay, hot take. All right, you finish that hot take.
I just don't think that for somebody who only buys PlayStation should not be allowed to buy a Halo game or a Mario game. I don't think someone who only buys Nintendo should be excluded from buying a Uncharted game or a Gears of War game. I don't think the console exclusives should exist anymore.
So then the question would be, what's the point of having multiple consoles?
Yeah, exactly. Why buy a Switch? Oh, I guess the portable thing. But then, yeah, why would Xbox
If we were just talking black boxes to play into your TV, what would be the point then?
I think the competition thing is a negative and a positive. I think that's really the only thing that separates people's preferences from buying consoles nowadays.
Well, it's almost like it's a niche market. Exclusive. I mean, that's why we're getting this is probably why this generation is the best it's ever been, because every console is not fighting for the same market. Nintendo's got their own market, Sony now has their own market, and Microsoft has their own market. They're all going to different types of gamers. And hell, PC is technically its own market too. So realistically, this is probably the best case scenario that the exclusives are what they are, because Sony's focus is on their exclusives and having the best quality games. Nintendo is on the gimmicks and their games. And here's another thing too, Nintendo would never fucking put their games on other systems. They would rather die than put a Mario game on another system.
Yeah, they would just kill off their games.
There was a while ago that they were considering going straight to Xbox.
Yeah, and then I think they probably sat there and wait. They're American.
America.
Japan don't like associating with people that aren't Japanese.
True.
And then, like I said, with Xbox's market now, all they want to do is they want to be an all-tool market. They want to be an affordable market for millions of people, rather than being we don't want to be the home for games. We just want to be a home for games. We want to be a home for everybody's games. That's their goal. Sony wants to be the place to go, and locally here, there's a station called Funny A20 AM, which is a comedy 24/7 station, and their whole gimmick is we want to be your second favorite radio station. They want to be the place you go when your main station isn't doing what you want. So what Xbox is trying to do with, say, Game Pass for PC is, or with xCloud, so you can play on your phone, is we don't want to be your main home. But when you got nothing going on, come with us and we'll give you something to do.
Well, I agree with that, and
But if they didn't have the
example,
competition, we wouldn't have these things. It would just be.
for example, myself, I was this close from buying the Note 20 when they were giving it with the Xbox controller and the Xbox Live subscription for free. I was legitimately this close. So, and I think that's the one thing like Xbox is definitely succeeding on is being able to play the games anywhere. And because PlayStation doesn't really allow that, but unless you have a Sony phone, but Sony's not really making phones.
I think you can PS4 Pro on like most devices now. I think it's getting more open now.
There's a PS4 remote app. I don't know how good it is.
It's okay. It's like it's decent. Like it's not horrible.
Yeah. Like you can do it on iPhone even, which is
it's just they don't have the attachment to like what Project xCloud is, where it's actually a device where you don't even need your PlayStation to be on, or your Xbox to be on, I should say. PlayStation is kind of there, but they're still getting their feet wet because they don't need to go that crazy right now. But no, it's just I mean, I guess going all the way back to where we were, because we suddenly went into talking about the console war. Going back to what we were talking about with PlayStation 5 games also being available for PS4, like, this is a consumer thing right here. I made the claims in my video for, like, why I didn't think it mattered from a technical standpoint. This is just straight up the most important choice. Why the fuck do you care that this game is now on the console that you already have bought? Shouldn't you be happy now that you don't have to spend $600 plus right away? Now you can wait.
Yep.
Because for me, that just made not buying a PS5 real easy. See, Chris can have this problem because he hasn't had a PS4. So it works out for him to get a PS5. For me, I might as well just wait and play Miles Morales and Horizon Forbidden West on a PS4 because I'm not a fucking quality whore and don't need my games to be 60 frames. I can deal with 30 frames if I have to, if it means I don't have $600 burned in my pocket.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that's the other thing. That's why I regretted buying my PS4 when I did, because at that time, most of the games until Mortal Kombat, I believe, it was Mortal Kombat. Most of the games, every game actually, was still being released on the PS3, including Call of Duty Ghosts, which by all means is one of the worst Call of Duties.
Well, yeah, I'd argue that in this case, in the PS4's case, is not nearly as terrible because the price of the PS4 at launch was pretty cheap.
$399.
So it didn't burn. It didn't burn that hard, and not to mention again, like PS4's like launch lineup was actually pretty decent, and then kind of hung in there for a while. I mean, yeah. I mean, if the sense of you just didn't want to spend any extra money, then sure. But I mean, it's definitely not as bad as it is in this one, where you can be spending quite a lot more.
Yeah, true.
Well, I just found that. Sorry, go ahead, dude.
Well, I was just gonna say I was gonna say my point about the games going to PS4 and PS5.
Yeah, finish your thought first.
You can finish your thought.
I was just gonna say that I just found that, like, if you're gonna release a console, and if you really want to make it impactful, don't release the games on the previous gen.
I would say I don't think in this case it matters. I think having it on PS5, you'll know the difference when you play Miles Morales. We saw it in the trailer. When we saw the gameplay trailer, it's fucking noticeable. If you have the money, it's worth it. It's fucking worth it. It's just because they give us the option to do both, it's worth it for those who can afford it, and people who can't afford it right now can at least be relaxed and waiting because now they're not missing out on games.
Yeah.
The only thing you're missing out right now, as far as I know, is Demon's Souls and
Ratchet.
Ratchet, yeah. Which, let's be completely honest, unless you're a big Souls fan, you're not missing too much. You can, like, most people can go without Ratchet and
Demon's Souls, I can certainly see that game requires a stronger console because it looks fucking incredible. Ratchet is kind of
they could have ported both. Well, actually, no, that's not true. They could have ported Demon's Souls. I don't think you could have ported Rift Apart. I think that game is actually too technical for a PS4.
You could port it. It would just have a lot of slowdown.
So I think with that gimmick, you wouldn't want to.
Would not be able to be ported on.
Well,
PS4,
you can port anything. I just think with that specific game's concept, you don't want to. Souls, I think you can because you just downgrade the textures and the graphics, and it's fine.
Because there's no hard loading time.
No,
I think like the way the game is being.
A Souls game is a large open world, so it wouldn't change anything. It would they would just reduce the textures and it'd be fine.
Yeah, and they'd load in a
I
little
don't think
slower
a
to
game like
distance,
that you would like to reduce the textures because I think it's too
No, I think in
beautiful of
1080p that thing would still look amazing because it's the fluency that's more important. But either way.
Yeah, true.
So, what was going to be your point there, Chris?
Well, I was just going to say, like, having it be exclusive makes it feel more special for the people buying a PS5 because it's like, hey, look at me, I've moved on to the next generation. I'm in the next generation. Where other people being one behind, they're like, no, you know what? I've got it too, so I'm also, I guess, in the next generation. Look, it's not that much different. First, the generation shouldn't be a hard stop and a hard start. That just doesn't make sense from a business standpoint, or for like you're saying, Adam, with people who can't afford to take
especially
the jump
because
to PS5
there's
right
a
now.
fucking pandemic going on, so a lot of people
Yes.
definitely don't have disposable income anymore.
Yes.
Now, if
Plus,
this happened with no pandemic, I think there might be a better case for people. But this is such a scenario where people really can't afford any major purchases right now.
Exactly. Nope. And take just the Spider-Man game, right? It's going to release in November, and it's going to be $79.99 for the full version or whatever the heck it is. You can buy that on PS4 or PS5, and it's going to be $79.99 on both consoles. It's not like, well, maybe the PS5 will be $10.
Yeah, I think it's
more,
actually cheaper on PS4 still.
Well, either way. So it'll be there, but it's still like, say, $50 or $60. It's not like they're going to release it on PS4 as $20. You're going to have 10 to 15 million PS5s on launch day. You have 110 on PS4. And on PS4, there's not much to play. So that Ghost of Tsushima game sold like gangbusters. Why? Because there wasn't really much else going on exclusive-wise. You're going to have it where all the, 95 million people that couldn't buy their PS5 yet, they're going to be like, well, I want to fit in. I want to play the new games too. I'll buy Spider-Man at $50, $60 on my PS4. And out of that 110 million, even if you only get 25% of them to still do that, that's about 30 million people, right? Like, that is good. That 30 million more copies of that game that they wouldn't have sold on PS5 because there just isn't the numbers.
Yeah.
And then you could be like, well, when they jump to PS5, they can buy it. Well, yeah, at that point, then it's the collector's edition for $19.99, and Sony lost all the sales of it at full price.
Now that I think about it,
business-wise,
I wonder, and I imagine it probably would be able to. If you have PlayStation Plus, would you be able to buy the PS5 versions of games that are free? I'm assuming you would be able to.
Isn't that going to be like if you buy the PS4 version, you get the PS5?
Well, no, but I'm just meaning in general, like if PS Plus, because they'll have different sets of games on PS5 than PS4, because that's what it was with PS4 and PS3 and PS Vita. So I wonder, I imagine you must be able to buy it on different versions because it's still linked to your account. Because then that's the other thing too. Like, I think if like all of us too, like we don't have to get the PS5 right away because if that's the possibility. You also have all these extra games that were free each month that you can walk into as soon as you buy the console too. So it's like, what's the rush? Unless, like I said, unless you have the money,
exactly.
If you have the money to burn, then go for it. But anybody who doesn't, if you're putting it on your credit card, dude, fucking back off for a bit.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you're upset,
yeah, you'll definitely be able to get the PS5 ones.
And if you're upset, if you're a PS5 owner already because you somehow managed to get through the clusterfuck of pre-ordering, like Chris here, if you're mad that you think that Horizon Forbidden West or Miles Morales or Sackboy, who really fucking cares, if you think that all of those games are not going to be that great because they also got made for another console, no. Because games get made for PC with extreme settings and also get made for consoles at 1080p, and they all still happen to be good games. The Witcher 3 is on fucking Switch.
Yeah.
Is The Witcher 3 a bad game on any of those devices? No.
Different resolution, different textures, exact same game. You just change the settings and you can make it run on anything now because everybody has the same architecture. Everything's x86.
We're not in an age anymore where there's different systems running off different architecture. It's just, this is extreme and this is medium. That's what it is now.
Yeah.
Like,
everything's
chill.
a PC now.
Holy shit.
Everything is technically a PC now, just different power and like different cases with different controllers.
I know it doesn't
That's really what's happened, and that's good.
I know it doesn't mean anything, but holy fuck, the internet needs to chill. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
For sure. Because what if I get Spider-Man and I want to talk to you guys about it? I can't if it wasn't on PS4. If you guys get it, we can all talk about it at the same time.
Yeah, it was all like that when all of us played Spider-Man, and Chris is like, I want to play Spider-Man.
And then he finally got to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay, PS Now.
But yeah, so people are dumb. That's about it. And then the last thing.
That's it.
And then, actually, you know what? The show's over because nothing else happened, so we're good, right? Everything's good.
Oh yeah,
It's
nothing game industry changing.
It's not like $7.5 billion got spent somewhere. No.
That's so much money.
So good night, guys.
That's more than Star Wars. That's more than buying Marvel. That's more. I think that's more than Marvel and Star Wars that was bought by Disney combined.
I think it's more than.
I think it was
Star Wars, more than Marvel. Not so much.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, when they bought Marvel, it was only $4 billion. I think.
Oh,
Marvel was $4 billion.
Yeah,
And
Star Wars
was over $4 billion, so just slightly above what Xbox paid for Bethesda was Star Wars and Marvel sold to Disney combined.
Almost, yeah. Almost combined, yeah. Like, this is a huge amount of money.
So yeah, Bethesda got bought, or I guess technically it's ZeniMax, but it's just Bethesda's parent company. Everybody just knows it's Bethesda. Yeah, they're now an exclusive brand to Xbox. Now, there are a couple of things that need to be said. So, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo were promised to be PS5 have PS5 exclusivity. Phil Spencer has come out and said that they will honor that. And then they were also asked about, what about the other series? Because this includes Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom. Like, this is a lot of big series. Wolfenstein. Dishonored.
So right
Prey,
now,
The Evil Within. Sorry, what, Vish?
The games Bethesda owns can be on both consoles, but now with the Microsoft purchase, they're just going to be only Xbox
and PC, but Phil Spencer has said that other consoles are going to be done on a case-by-case basis. So this is what I read into it. You would be fucking stupid to not put Elder Scrolls on PlayStation, because that is millions and millions of dollars you're pissing away. I think specific games will be held back, but the big games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls, they might be 6 months exclusive to Xbox and PC, but they will be on PlayStation, because that's money you don't ignore.
The second Tomb Raider game was on Xbox first, but then
it was for like a year, I think.
PS4 later
but
on.
they only paid for that one game. They didn't own Square Enix at the time.
Let's even look at it this way.
Imagine they bought Square Enix.
Imagine if Sony bought EA. I know it doesn't make any sense, but just hypothetically, let's imagine it. Do you really think EA would only put FIFA on Sony's? Do you really think they would do that? No. So even though Xbox now owns Bethesda, they're not stupid. They know they can make more money. So why wouldn't you put it on Sony's console? Might not be down right away at launch, but they'll do it, because that is a ton of money you'd be giving up. Now, they may have
if you take
DLC
Xbox
exclusivity.
right
they may have a 6 to 12 month timed exclusiveness. They might have free updates that they get. They might have more stuff right in that game. There may be specific content locked away in certain consoles. But the game itself, it would be stupid for some of these games to be locked.
If you think about it, Microsoft bought Minecraft. They bought Mojang for $5 billion, which, Microsoft apparently just has a lot of money.
Yes, they do.
Minecraft is still on everything. It's literally on phones and tablets, all this stuff.
Now, in the case of Minecraft, it also was already on everything, so that's kind of a different case, but
Well, no, because they just released, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, Minecraft VR for PlayStation VR exclusive. So Microsoft just released a PlayStation VR exclusive game.
So it's
can
almost
you play
like
Minecraft in VR format though.
You can. It looks weird, but you can.
You can now. I can imagine it would be very jarring.
With Lego, essentially.
If you're holding a pickaxe.
I mean, what's wrong with chopping up pigs with a shovel?
I've
never played
but also when you
familiar with how the game.
You should. You honestly, and this is me being serious. You should.
It's a lot of fun.
This is a great game to just chill, just to be really
and super
chill
relaxing. The music is so relaxing and good. Oh, it's so good. Minecraft's amazing for that.
But yeah, no,
but if you take.
Oh no, you finish your thought, because I was just going to repeat what I was going to say earlier. So
now for my final thought.
I was just going to say, also with Xbox, take a couple of their other games that are theirs, like Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Very amazing Metroidvania platform games that Xbox created. Yes, they put them on PC day one, but that's because And Microsoft was like, all right, there's a
Yeah,
lot of people
Cuphead
on
was the
PC, we
same
gotta
way,
get
and then
on there.
eventually got put on Steam. It got put on
Cuphead.
PlayStation now. I think it's on Nintendo now as well, isn't it?
Yes, and if you take it like Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps is on Nintendo Switch. There was a 6-month exclusivity on Xbox and PC, and then they put it on Switch because they knew that cartoony Metroidvania style game made a lot of sense for the Nintendo Switch and they'd make money there, so they released it there. Cuphead was on there way before PlayStation because again they were like, again, this game makes sense portably. Let's put it on the Switch and, play nice with other gaming companies. And now Cuphead is on PlayStation. Like, they are definitely not holding back many of their franchises, except like the very big ones that are Microsoft Studio specific.
Yeah, if it's literally
like Halo,
Microsoft's name to it, that's different.
Yeah. But even then, they're putting it on Steam day one, which is
and
not.
I mean, we're even seeing with Sony that Sony's following suit. Like Horizon's on PC now, so like, and they're considering it because Horizon sold so well. Unsurprisingly, I know, but it's the idea now that like even to like Vish's credit, like when he was talking about like I wish things weren't always exclusive. It's getting to a point that like not everything is exclusive anymore, but they're also like some things are being held back, but they are definitely open to leaving things. Nintendo's really the only one not throwing their exclusives anywhere now.
There was one time
because they know that's all they got.
That Devil May Cry was a Sony exclusive, but when Devil May 4 came out, it went to Xbox as well.
Well, that's because Sony doesn't make those games. I think it's Capcom, right?
Capcom.
Which kind of
this
goes.
This is like Spider-Man ending up on Xbox.
They did that with
Insomniac was allowed to put it there.
They did that with Metal Gear Solid as well.
Like, again, they're not owned by anybody.
Though. They don't. Konami.
Like no, if
like Sony owns Insomniac.
If Infamous, for example, went to Xbox, that would be a much different case because like Insomniac is literally owned by Sony. So
okay,
but that's the case in point. Is like there is definitely a case to be made that some of these games will probably see the light of other consoles. It just may be held back or it may be a lesser version because they may not get all the DLC or something, right? The only question that's interesting, because since we were talking about Capcom, is now that this has happened, does Sony suddenly go, shit, do we need to buy something else up just to make sure that they can't take everything from us?
Or let Disney buy them?
No, please no.
Yeah, that would be
I don't
weird.
know.
That'd be interesting for the console.
Disney right now with me, Disney's only good track record with me is with Marvel because everything else has been a fucking disaster to me.
Oh, no. Well, you're not a Pixar fan, are you?
Well, what I mean is like a lot of what they've been doing recently that is outside of Marvel has not been amazing for me. Like Star Wars has been horrible. All the remakes have been horrible. Like a lot of what Disney's been putting out.
The last few Pixar movies have been incredible.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, it's just like a monkey can once in a blue moon make something good, right? So,
no, I understand what you're saying.
But like, does Sony have to suddenly do something in response? Like, I brought up the examples with you guys in the Discord because again, it's a Japanese company. In Japan, when they need something, they go to look to their blood, and which means they go to look at other Japanese companies. So that would mean companies like Square or Capcom or Konami or Bandai Namco or Atlas. Like, do you think Sony would look at this as like being something? Actually, funny you say that. I've seen rumors that Microsoft might be looking at Sega too.
I did see those too, which would be weird because that would mean Microsoft would own Persona
and Sonic.
Like. Yeah, I could see Sonic because it's just like a character.
That would hurt too because if they suddenly locked away Persona and Yakuza from me, oh my god. They all I would say is they better put that shit on Game Pass PC at launch or I will fucking kill them.
Oh, they will. I will. And I think that's a huge benefit for this is now we're going to see like, oh, the new Doom game is out. Nobody wants to buy the new Doom game at like $80. But it being on Game Pass day one guaranteed. And it's also not one of the games that gets removed because it's like actually owned by Microsoft. So it's on there permanently.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you're going to see like Elder Scrolls 6 put up on Game Pass and it's never leaving.
Yeah. Like that's where I would play it 100% instead of spending $80 to buy it somewhere.
But do you think Sony would react? Do you think so? I don't think they need. I don't think they would. I
don't think
they look at it as something that really that gets to them.
Microsoft is trying to play catch up. This is because everybody's thing was Microsoft has no first party games. They have Halo, they have Gears, and that's basically it.
I would say
this is their way of trying to catch up.
I would say if they actually like locked all the content away from Sony, then maybe Sony would be like, oh shit. Like if they came out and said Fallout 5 is going to be Xbox exclusive and that's it. Sony goes, oh shit. Okay, so they're gonna lock some real
Yeah,
big
so
fucking
he-
franchises
yeah.
from us, and then maybe they will react to that. But right now, no, I don't think they need to. I don't think they have. I don't think they feel threatened.
I
At all
don't think
still.
now they need to. No, this just helps Xbox actually still stay in the game because
Now, if they go out and like go after like a small studio, like that'd be different. If they go out and grab like Blue Point, for example, because those are the guys that are doing the Demon Souls remake.
Oh yeah,
If they go out and do that, because by the way, Blue Point has done a lot of work on ports for them. Like almost all of Blue Point's games are all PS ports. They're all ports. So they've been working with Sony for a while.
Okay.
They've done a couple of Xbox games, but they've mostly been doing PlayStation. So maybe they look at that and just go, okay, let's scoop up some of the people that we work with already just to make sure they can't get taken from us. But I don't think they would do anything major along the lines of like, I mean, there's not really much you can do along the lines of a Bethesda at this point. Like I said, Square and Capcom are really the only two that come to mind. But I don't even know if those companies would want to be sold anyway. Like I don't think there's any company that we like. Who would have thought before Monday that Bethesda was for sale? Even if the price was big,
they had no idea.
Like you never would have thought it because Bethesda's been a big institution in E3 for so many years now. Bethesda's been almost like a major company up there with EA and Ubisoft. So for somebody to think that Bethesda, even though $7.5 billion is a hell of a price, you still wouldn't think it'd be getting sold.
Absolutely. I actually thought of something today. I realized how much them buying Bethesda actually makes sense. If you take Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, and Wolfenstein, those games were all PC exclusive games that
they
only
were.
Yeah, they
ran
all
on
started out
Windows
there.
before.
Fun fact.
And that's the actual
the Doom SNES game, the first console game to ever be rated M.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird because those it's the odd situation where a PC game got ported to console. It's normally the other way around, right? They were all PC games, but that means they ran on Windows. So Microsoft was integral to their initial plan. Then it was Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind that was the first Elder Scrolls and the first time that Bethesda actually started bringing its games over to console. So when that was happening, they didn't plan on doing it. It was Microsoft that was like, hey, we're making the Xbox. We're making a console. Instead of a PC, we're making our first console and we want you guys to make a game for it. Bethesda said, nobody wants to play such a massive open world game on console. That's a PC experience. You're crazy. And it was actually Microsoft that was like, listen, we're going to give you this amount of money, make Elder Scrolls 3 come to our console. So it was Microsoft that made a deal with Bethesda to get them off PC and into the console market. And it was an Xbox exclusive at first.
Which is probably why Fallout ended up turning into an FPS.
Exactly, right? Because it was like the point and click, basically.
Yeah.
So it was Microsoft that had them first. Then it was Microsoft that brought them into console. And now it's Microsoft that's like, you know what? We've been partners and working together so long, we buy you. Microsoft's been there the whole time. It's creepy.
Yeah, it does make sense for them to buy them because those, like you said, even I noticed that these are mainly PC games and PC franchises.
Yeah. And they have that bro feel too.
Do you think they're
They
going to
fit
bring back
the
Wayne
Xbox
Gretzky hockey?
No.
No.
EA will put a kibosh to that
Wayne
shit real
Gretzky's
quick.
too busy. They hockey somehow.
EA is able to stop a different hockey franchise from being like.
Yes, it's just
It
called
depends on who's
it's called
in there.
NHL existing. Because they have the license to NHL. There's a reason you can't make NFL games. There's no NFL 2K because the license to NFL games, period, that are simulation games, are literally owned by EA.
So Madden is it for.
Yeah, you can't make another NFL game. You can make football games, but they can have nothing to do with the NFL.
Actually, to go upon this point, I saw that they had released WWE Playgrounds.
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's absolute garbage.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and on that note, there's an interesting thing that
I was really upset.
AEW is obviously working on a game, and they're working on the old engines that used to be like the old like N64 like fun games.
Yeah.
It is at the point now that you could make a marginally okay wrestling game and it would make a shit ton of money because that market has been really bad for so long now.
Well, WWE 2K20 was a fucking nightmare and a half. Like, for example, I was just being nice. I saw on Facebook Marketplace, this guy was trading Horizon and God of War is like looking to trade for WWE or like a various sports games, and I commented like, "Hey man, just to let you know, I have both of these games, but don't trade for WWE. It's a fucking nightmare. You'll just Google the glitches on there. Like it's just like the fact that they can't make something that has such a strong and loyal fan base into
they
a
can make
decent video game.
They can make it. They just don't bother.
But
it's the same reason.
didn't.
It's the same reason why Madden doesn't make good games anymore, because they know they don't have to.
No. Need to. There's no competition. They have a monopoly on the market, so
most,
they're not being
most
kept
like
in check.
sports-related games are never that good. Like NASCAR games aren't the greatest racing games. Actually, Formula One's actually decent. That's like probably like the one example of like a franchise sport that's actually done relatively well.
Isn't Forza pretty good as well?
But has nothing to do with sports. It's just cars. It's not licensed. But like NASCAR games suck, but F1 games are pretty good actually.
Okay. No,
I've never played any of the F1 games. I think I own one.
I'm not familiar with the business aspect of Forza, so
yeah. But again,
that's what I was wondering.
Forza has nothing to do with our conversation. Forza isn't a company.
But is Forza not a sports racing simulator?
Yeah, but what does
game?
it have to do with an actual licensed sport?
There's no licensing. Yeah.
Okay,
I just have to license the.
We were literally talking about why
car.
Madden doesn't have to make good games because they don't have to. It's because those specific fans don't care. In the same vein that a NASCAR fan really doesn't care if their game is any good. They just want to be able to zoom around in the number 8 car.
Yeah.
No.
With their NASCAR.
The only reason that I think F1 is probably actually really good is because most Formula 1 fans are not just Formula 1 fans, they're racing purists.
So they'll watch races despite.
Well, what I mean is they're not looking at F1 as the brand. They're wanting to watch good racing.
Oh, okay.
So their expectation for a game would not be just, here's the Ferrari car, here's the Mercedes car, go on this track. Now it's like, no, they want a good racing game. Like WWE fans, let's be completely honest, they don't want a good wrestling game. They just want to see Sasha Banks enter a ring and just hear the music. So many people, honestly, the first thing they do, I know because I usually am one of them, literally goes immediately into Create a Wrestler and just listens to all the entrance music and does all the entrances. That's all I do. So a lot of people that play these kinds of games, and that includes all the sports like FIFA, Madden, NHL, NBA, most of those people could care less if the game is a 10 out of 10 quality game. They just want their sports. That's all they want.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But Bethesda is definitely not doing a hockey game, so they will be busy making I was about to say better games. I'm like, wait, Bethesda's been having a bit of a rocky patch lately. They'll be making games.
Wait, I mean, this could be good. Could be good. Maybe Microsoft will actually bring them back around and be like, hey, no, you guys remember that crap? We're not doing that.
Side note, speaking of things getting back together. So people are freaking out because Obsidian is also owned by Xbox. And Obsidian made the New Vegas Fallout game. They also make the Outer Worlds, which is their newest project. A lot of people have been like, oh, Fallout New Vegas 2, right? And Obsidian was playing coy and they just did a shrug emote. And everybody's like, oh man, it's happening. I just want to remind people that Fallout New Vegas was a long time ago. And just because a title is on a box, just because a box says Fallout New Vegas 2, does not mean the game's going to be the best game you've ever played, guys. Just be warned. No. Don't hype yourselves out of it. Please don't do that. Because the last thing I need to see is millions of fucking soy boys out there on the internet getting all pissy because Fallout New Vegas 2 wasn't an 11 out of 10. Because they overhyped it.
It'll be as good as Outer Worlds.
Like, expect Outer Worlds as the bar.
Yeah, it'll be that. And which is perfect, though. I know I haven't played it, but from everything I've read, and Adam, what you described, that to me would be good enough and better than any Fallout game we've had for a while.
Yeah.
So,
but if anybody's expecting New Vegas, like, no offense, guys, but you can't get New Vegas. Because New Vegas is not just a game. It's a game that you have a lot of nostalgic value to. It's the same thing with all these games that are long-time sequels of something like Kingdom Hearts 3, like Mass Effect Andromeda, like all these games. People need to stop pretending that these games could ever be the same as the game they remember. It's not like that, because the game that is coming out today does not carry the same value that you put into it for years of remembering it 10, 15 years ago.
They can't bring in their previous save data into this new game and carry on from what they were.
Well, but it's not even that. It's literally just the like if somebody said, "Okay, we're going to remake a Chrono game." Like we're going to do a third Chrono game. Both me and Chris have enough knowledge and enough like sense in our fucking skulls to go, "This might be amazing, but it's also been 15, 20 years."
It's not going to be the same people.
Not to mention Square doesn't have a great track record these days.
No, they're going to make Final Fantasy 15 Chrono Trigger styles.
Nintendo could say, "We're going to completely remake Super Mario 3 in complete 3D." And everybody be like, "This is going to be amazing. It's going to be like everything I remember." It might not actually be that great. Or it might be still good, but not as good as you think it would be. Because you're putting so much more value into that game than anything that could ever be attainable.
Yep.
Yeah, but then they're also working on potentially making a remake of Skyward Sword. So...
They're not going to make a remake.
What I'm
They're
saying
just going to upgrade the controls for Switch.
What I'm saying is that people are hyping themselves up on a game because of the title. Because it's not just a title to them. It's literally like the best memories they have. You can't top that bar. You can't. No game. I will never play a Mass Effect game in my life and have the same emotions that I did with Mass Effect 2. It's impossible. I will never play a Final Fantasy game and feel the same way that I did about Final Fantasy 10 and 6. I will never play a Kingdom Hearts game that feels like 2. I will never play a Persona game that feels like 4. It's not possible because you carry so much more emotional value into it. The only way that it becomes better is if 10 years down the road you play Persona 6 and you feel like that game 10 years later was so much better. But Persona 6, even if it actually is better than 4 at the time, you won't think that way because 4 carries so much more weight in you.
So I agree and disagree with what you're saying. Like for myself, when I played Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, I thought, holy shit, this is fucking incredible. And granted, it's some of the best Mario games ever made. But for myself, and maybe it's just the whole vintage and like love for it, I will still look at Mario 3 as the greatest game.
Well, but here's
Mario
the thing too,
game.
right? Like those two games aren't even the same anyway, because Mario games are never the same. They always are different and still the same in some ways. Like I'm talking straight up, like Fallout, for example. Like everybody looks at Fallout New Vegas. Even if like everybody looked at the Outer Worlds being like, "Oh, it's Obsidian's first new game like that's like Fallout." And they all thought the Outer Worlds was going to be the greatest thing ever. And the early reviews made it feel like that because people just put their nostalgia into it. But by the time that most of the reviews came out, most people said Outer Worlds is good, but it's not New Vegas. Because you can't make a game like New Vegas because you can't make a game with 10 years of emotion already put into it. You can't play a game today and make it better than the game that you have 10 years of love to. You just can't. Like 10 years have to go by. It isn't the same. It's the same reason that a lot of us have a really hard time looking at consoles as being better than the SNES or the N64 or the PS1, whatever one we started with, because that's where all the memory comes from. It's had years to sink into us. The PS4 down the line might actually be one of my top 3, but it isn't right now only because how do you beat the SNES and the PS2? Because there's so many years of memories that I've let sit over and over the course of my life. PS4 is always going to be a great console 15 years from now in my brain. But until 15 years from now, it was a fun console while it's been here.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. And like I find a lot of times that some of the newer consoles, like, well, oh great there. Like for myself, I would actually look at, I hold more accolades to the PS3 than I do the PS4. Believe it or not.
I'm sure you've played many more games on the PS3 too than the PS4.
Probably. And so that's just one thing I look at it as. And while I don't know, it could
also,
be like
we're older, so it's really hard to have the same feeling anymore. There's also
like
that.
For myself, I never owned an N64, so I remember having this one like mini debate with my friends. How I feel GoldenEye is one of the most overrated pieces of craps ever made. But it's not necessarily the game like what people not necessarily love about the game itself. It's more the memories of the game.
No, I still disagree. The fact that you call that game a piece of crap, I think revokes any critique that you could ever make of a game, because that's one of the best first-person shooters from that era.
of that era. But I mean, like that game itself, I never enjoyed, and I found, and it maybe because the technology just wasn't there, like to actually control the game and everything. It was quite difficult. But it's also.
But when
what
did you
I
play that
look
game?
at
I'm
it-
curious. When did you actually
Yeah,
play
when-
that game?
yeah.
I played it when it first came out, like when I was 14 and all that, man. I played that game like when it first came out. It wasn't like I played it like when I was 22 or something.
Huh.
So I
I
played
beat that game on. I beat that game on ultra hard, like 00 agent.
So you may just be like
difficulty.
one of the 3 people that thinks it's horrible.
But the thing is, with a game like GoldenEye, it's not necessarily the game itself was great. It's the memories you had playing as a group, playing with the co-op that wasn't there before.
I think that doesn't apply in a lot of like there's no game. There's actually I shouldn't say there's no game, but there's very few games that you ever play that are actually bad and you know are bad, but you have the memories for. I don't think that really takes place. Like I don't look at GoldenEye as being. I'm not gonna like 20 years now. I'm not looking at GoldenEye just for its memories. I know that I love playing that game not just because it was good as like it was a fun game. So I mean, there's very few games out there that I could say like maybe they were bad games and I just liked because that's what I had as a kid. But I don't know if you can make that case very often.
It's like, for example, like with the Smash Brothers series, a lot of people are like, oh, Smash Brothers 1's the greatest, or even Mario Kart N64.
I
is
don't
the
know a
greatest.
single person that says the original Smash is the greatest. It starts at Melee.
I've heard it. But
It's not the
like,
greatest, but I do still love it.
No, but the thing is, though, it's essentially it's the memories of the game where you got to play as all these characters for the first time and battling like this. Like that wasn't there before.
Well, but that makes my point though, is that I don't think a lot of people really like they overhype themselves on newer games because it's a good game on top of it's not a good game for most people. It's their favorite game plus 15 years of emotion, and they take that into a game that comes out in 2020. Like even like here's even a great example of now. There are people that are expecting Cyberpunk 2077 to be a 12 out of 10 because Witcher 3 is their favorite game. Like how does that make any sense?
No.
Like
Yeah,
that's the kind of mentality that I
completely
think
different.
really hurts a lot of gamers. Is because this game was good, that means this game has to be better. No, expect this game. If this is the bar, expect the game to be at least here and hopefully right at par. That's what you hope for. Never go into a game thinking it has to be better than this. Go into a game seeing, I hope it's at least as good as this.
Yeah.
Depends the studio, because I found like Konami is pretty decent across the board.
Even then, I don't care. You should never go into a game thinking it has to be better. You should never think
Didn't Konami
that.
make all those
but
Castlevania
I mean, like, if you-
games on PS2?
on PS2, I'm not entirely
Or PS3?
sure. I know there was.
There's like 3D
I did
Castlevania
rent-
games that suck.
Yeah, I did rent one when I was when Blockbuster was still around, and they had like a monthly subscription for renting games. And the Konami, I don't know if it was Konami, but those PS3 Castlevania games, they weren't great.
Yeah, like what I mean when I say too, because some people are going to take this out of context. When I said you shouldn't be looking for a game to be better, that's not what I mean. I mean in the sense of like you shouldn't be looking say obviously with Fallout 5 whenever that gets announced. If you think Fallout 4 is your favorite Fallout game, you shouldn't be immediately going into Fallout 5 thinking this is going to be my new favorite game. Don't do that to yourself.
That's just disappointing.
Whatever your 10 out of 10 game is, whatever game you think is the sequel to that, don't think that it has to be better than that 10 out of 10. Stop, like, everybody needs to stop hyping games that they have to be masterpieces. Like, just hope the game is fun. Like, that's really the core of it. Just hope the game is fun and that you feel like you got your money's worth. That's the first thing you should be worried about. Don't worry about if it's better than something. Don't worry about if it's better than the series that's in the same genre. Don't worry if it's a better sequel. Just hope that it's at least a 7, 8 out of 10. Just that's what you should be shooting for. And then after that, you can worry about comparing. But until then, just enjoy the fucking game. Just to go out and enjoy the game first and then worry about the comparisons after you're done.
Yeah.
People put way too much stock into something has to be a much better improvement. Obviously, a sequel to, like, Horizon sequel has to be an improvement of Horizon, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the best version of Horizon. It might, because for the same rate, Mass Effect Andromeda is actually a better gameplay version of Mass Effect, but the core of it, the story, makes it such a worse game. You can make improvements to a game and still be a shittier game in the end. So, like, if you're saying, hey, I hope they improve this or this, yeah, that's one different thing. But if you're expecting that this 9 out of 10 game has to be at least a 9.5 now, you're setting yourself up for disappointment doing that. So, like, with the New Vegas stuff, like, anybody who's hyping, I get it. You're really happy that this game is coming. Believe me, I'm really excited if a New Vegas 2 is coming as well, because New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game, but I'm not going to be going into that game being like, this is going to be at least as good as New Vegas. My brain is going to be like, it's probably going to be a really good Fallout game. That's my goal. That's my bar. It's going to be a good Fallout game.
Well, that's the way you look at Super Mario 3. You look at it as it's a good Mario game, not necessarily one of the GOATs of all time.
No, Mario 3 is one of the greatest games of all time. Let's not kid ourselves.
No, but I mean, for yourself, you look at it more of as a great Mario game, not necessarily one of the greatest games of all time.
Well, but again, that has nothing to do with how I feel about other Mario games. Like, I don't look at Mario 3 and say, well, Mario 4, if that was ever a thing, has to be better than Mario 3. No, I'm just like, shit, well, Mario 3 was good, Mario 2 was good, Mario 1 was good, Mario World is good, Mario Galaxy was good, Sunshine was good, 3D World was good. So whenever a Mario game comes out, my expectation is it's going to be a good game. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously Odyssey like blew people away because that's what Mario does. But as long as you're going into a new Mario game or a new Zelda game or a new Metroid or a new like whatever, just go into it just hoping for good, hoping for great. Don't sit there being like, well, this is the best one of it, so it has to be better than this now.
I look at it as phenomenal.
No, you're not Adam Trump. Don't take his gimmick away. But yeah, no. All in all, like, I'm excited for a lot of stuff, and I think also as a business model and as a customer who has now a PC, Bethesda is in a very interesting place now, especially with Microsoft having them at the helm. That makes things really interesting. Not to mention, you wonder if they had done something like this sooner, this could have helped them during the launch. If they could have maybe thrown something else in there, because good lord, they need launch titles. Uh-oh. I think I lost people. Oh no. The show's breaking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You are breaking up at my end. So
okay, I'm gonna do a couple of things here to shut things down. I mean, we're getting close to the end anyway, so this is the thankful part of me being in my own house. I'm completely fine here, so we're good.
Okay. Yeah.
But so I turned up because I had another camera running on a different computer, so maybe that was interfering with it a little bit. So maybe that's not an option anymore. But we'll see as it goes. But yeah,
it's better.
It's definitely better. Yeah. All in all, the more important part is just that, like, look, Bethesda being owned as Xbox is a great thing for a lot of people. It might mean that PlayStation players may have to wait a little bit longer for something, but I don't think it's like the end of the world. I don't think Fallout or Elder Scrolls is going to suddenly never be accessible again by a PlayStation gamer. Not to mention, we're at a point now that xCloud, as soon as the internet gets a little bit better for people, you don't even need to worry about having a console because you just have a functioning PC and you can do it too.
Exactly. And yeah, like xCloud on a PC and stuff like that will be killer because you can do all of this stuff without having to worry about upgrading your PC, buying an Xbox, doing all that kind of stuff. And this is very exciting for Xbox because, I mean, let's face it, they've been getting hit hard with not having many first-party titles. Regardless of what systems they end up on, not great for them. But also, this will be really cool for Game Pass. Game Pass, remember, in the last couple of weeks, they announced Game Pass was, coming to the Series S and the Series X. Then they announced EA Play was coming to it for free, and now Bethesda is going to be a part of it. Game Pass is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Game Pass.
Game Pass is gonna actually revolutionize because both other
parties,
actually,
Nintendo when you really think about it.
No, Nintendo and Sony are gonna have to look at other opportunities to compete with Game Pass.
Sony doesn't have to do shit. Actually, I don't even think either have to do shit. Yeah. I don't think either have to do anything because they have to, like I said at the beginning of all this, they have their own markets. They don't need to do what Xbox is doing. They've carved out their own market.
Nintendo has like a mini Game Pass with all their retro games, and I think that's kind of smart. Instead of making people pay $5 again for every old Mario and Super Metroid and all that,
yeah, it's quite
$25 a year.
It's quite low cost, so
yeah. And I love that. I'll pay $25 a year as long as I use my Switch. because
Yep,
it gives you the cloud saves and the online like PS Plus and all that. But like, hey, instead of us trying to like give you a free game or do what PlayStation's doing, here's the Nintendo, here's the Super Nintendo. We're gonna keep adding to it, and probably Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance is what's rumored will be next. Boom, here you go. Here's all those games. Just play them.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, like my worry here is that it's not a worry. It's like it's gonna happen. Game Pass and all of this is Netflix to Blockbuster. Like EB Games and stuff, they're the people that need to be scared because it's like, who the heck is gonna go in and buy these physical $80 games? It'll still happen, but it'll be so much less. Because not only do you have, it's not like just. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm never in support of people losing their jobs, but if there's any company that kind of deserves getting shut down because of their bad business choices, it's been EB Games. It's been GameStop.
Yeah.
I would not be happy about a lot of people losing their jobs because let's be honest, that's what's going to happen. But
yeah,
that it's not the employee's fault. It's the company's fault because they really did nothing.
They
thought they could do whatever they were doing
jobs.
forever. They did exactly what Blockbuster did. They thought they were never going to leave. They thought they would never go away.
Yep.
So they did nothing.
Yep.
EB Games waited till it was too late. They started. I keep saying EB Games. I think people are confused. Like GameStop, EB Games is the same thing. But it's all.
EB Games is a Canadian GameStop, friends.
It's weird because they kind of flipped. Because I think it used to actually be the opposite in both countries between the U.S. and Canada. But yeah, GameStop, EB Games, whatever you want to call it, they waited way too long, and then they basically just said, "Okay, let's be Hot Topic with video games." And by then it was too late.
It did not work. Yeah, because like first it was by physical. Then it went by digital, which got them out of it. But now it's like, here's Netflix. You don't even have to buy games. Pay $15 and just play the ones you're gonna play, and it's all streamed and whatever. Like that's even less for EB. Like they've got no chance of being a part of that. Digital, they could have tried to work something in maybe, but even then it was like, oh, they're so behind now. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's really their own damn fault. So.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%, 100% as a company. Yeah.
So with a potential company shutting down, it seems like a good thing to segue into shutting the podcast down. So.
Oh no, we should have changed and worried about digital too.
Yeah, it. But this has been the VCR podcast.
Our podcast is digital.
Episode 43 is in the books. Thank you so much for listening to this show. If you are catching this on any audio platform, be sure to rate us if you can. Share it with all your friends. If you're watching this on YouTube, obviously like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content. And if you're looking to watch the stream live, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we stream live on twitch.tv/csradical. As well, I want to say VCR Pod on Twitter and Instagram. I have not touched either of those in forever because social media is not my forte. But it is a thing. And then when it comes to audio platforms, vcrpod.podbean.com is our main website where you can see all our available platforms. We are on Stitcher Radio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I think TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. I think we just got put on Amazon Music now, actually.
Cool.
Nice.
So we're on a lot of places now these days. So yeah, go check us out wherever you listen to podcasts. So
we are on the same platform as The Expanse.
Fuck yeah, we are.
Away. Heck yeah. Jeff Bezos, buy us.
Mm-hmm.
400 million.
Guys, we're worth like maybe a glass of water at this point.
Yeah, okay, fine. 600 million.
Sparkling water?
No, we're like shitty. We're like at best like Flint, Michigan tap water right now in terms of value.
Oh dear God. Oh boy. Oh.
So to leave and discuss, thank you so much for checking out the VCR podcast, and we will happily see you. Well, we'll happily see you guys, not Vish. Not Vish, that's different. But we will happily see you guys next week when there probably won't be nearly as much shit going on. It might be a little bit quieter next week.
Next week's gonna be quiet. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or Microsoft's gonna buy Valve or something, and it's gonna be insane.
Jesus Christ.
Or Sony just buys Microsoft, and then Disney buys Sony.
Sony doesn't have money to buy Microsoft. You kidding me?
No. Microsoft does a lot more.
Thank you so much for checking out the show, guys. We'll see you next week.